We are live, according to the thing that just popped up on my screen. Max and Alec live here on YouTube. Alec's birthday today.
Yes,
Big
very
deal. As
special
I
day.
adjust my camera, we're off to a terrible start here. I dropped my camera like seconds before. I don't know why I hit the go live button when I didn't have it back up, but we're about ready to go here on Sports Radio 1766. We have upped the production value a little bit today. You can see we have our ticker on the bottom, or if you're listening to this in podcast form, you can't see this, but on YouTube, you can see it. Sports Radio 1766 scrolling across the bottom. There's nothing else going on. Maybe we'll put more on there. But we've got a lot of stuff going on today. Let's pull up our itinerary for the day. We've got Mike Broadbent coming on in a little bit. I've got him at 3:00. We'll talk about something with him, I guess, Rutgers football or something. We didn't really have anything planned. We'll talk about Rutgers, Washington. We've got Richard Kent had a proposition on Twitter. We'll get to that. We will have James Kratch on. He's going to tell us about, we're going to talk about whether or not Rutgers football would have made the 2006 college football playoff, something he brought up, I think, on Twitter today, which I thought was a really fun topic. I've got a new segment, Max's Tier Talk, brand new segment. It's going to be a lot of fun. We've got Big Ten in the alphabet, Red Panda, and a lot more. So, Alec, how are we feeling? 4-0. That was a while ago at this point. We're on the Nebraska, but what a time to be alive.
Oh, yeah. I mean, being 4-0, first time since 2012. Last time that happened, 2012, that was when Rutgers won a conference title. I don't know if the same will happen this year, but off to a pretty good start, I would say. Yeah. I mean, that was a pretty crazy game on Friday night in front of a nationally televised audience. Came down to the wire. Very entertaining game. Maybe a little bit closer than people would have liked. Particularly Washington fans, considering they outgained Rutgers by 230 yards or something ridiculous like that. But a win is a win is a win.
Yeah, so that was actually one of the crazy things from Friday, right? We're like, and here I have the tweet here from Mike Broadbent from the other day up here. We're based on what like the win expectancy, post-game win expectancy. Rutgers had the lowest post-game win expectancy based on how they did on third downs and how they did on plays throughout the game. 3.3% they were expected to win based on just the numbers in the game, the lowest of the entire season. And people were upset about that. They're getting up and down the field. The defense is getting gashed. Who cares? There's only 12 football games in a season. It really does. It doesn't matter. You can kind of convince me that a basketball game, the result of a basketball game matters, but who cares? It doesn't matter, right? Who cares?
Yeah. I mean, like you say, it's a 12-game season, regular season, so there's a lot more variance in these kinds of things. Basketball is a little bit more predictive. Obviously, football has these predictive things too, but it's not it's not like these things are going to extrapolate over 5 months. It's only the 12 games that we have ahead of us. So I don't think Rutgers will get outgained by 280 yards or whatever the number was in many other games, if any, honestly. So I think this was definitely an anomaly, and also an anomaly in the fact that Washington shot itself in the foot more than I have ever seen in one game. I mean, there were so many penalties, including the one that ended up costing Washington a touchdown, on having the illegal substitution on the blocked field goal. And Rutgers
that was crazy. So what happened on that? The guy just I didn't actually ever see it. I never saw the play.
Yeah.
He ran onto the field. I was at the game. I never saw a replay. And he ran onto the field while the celebration was going on.
So they had a guy on the bench. I think it was a freshman. And I guess while the play was still going on, he ran onto the field. I guess he thought it was a dead ball or something, even though no one had picked it up yet. And that was if it was after the play, probably, I don't even know if A, they would have called it, or B, it just would have set them back 5 yards from where they would have started on offense. But because it was while the play was still going on, it affected the actual play and it gave Rutgers a first down. Not only did Rutgers get to retry the field goal, but they also got a fresh set of downs too, just to add, just to twist the knife a little bit further. And obviously, like I said, they scored on a play later. So that basically, that changed the game. And that wasn't the only costly penalty that Washington had. I mean, they jumped off sides multiple times in some of those third and fourth and short situations. It could have been worse. And there were 2 targeting reviews in the first 2 possessions. That was a little ridiculous, to add into the fact that there was 15 commercial breaks throughout the entire game.
Yeah, the commercial breaks are getting wild. Like I'm looking at the clock, and I saw 3 minutes and 50 seconds on that little clock they have on the field to show you how much time for a timeout. And I'm like, is that real? Like, are the networks getting together and just saying like, hey, like we're all agreeing that we're all going to make these TV timeouts longer? Like, because what's the limit on this? How like
I
high can they make the TV timeouts?
There is no limit, basically. I guess I really don't know. It feels like this mostly just happens in some of these national games. I don't think I've seen a Rutgers game on Big Ten Network last almost 4 hours, which it did. I think the game ended around like 11:45 or something like that. It was ridiculous. Yeah, it's I think it's more of a national thing than anything, but yeah, it was ridiculous. I mean, it felt like, especially there was one play in particular. I forget which one it was, but it felt like there was just, I think there was an injury timeout, and then they went to a media timeout. It was just ages and ages of just sitting there waiting to actually play some football. It was ridiculous.
And something I wanted to point out, you mentioned how late the game ended. So you got caught in traffic after the game, and then you and Richie went live on YouTube. You guys had like 200 people watching you on YouTube at 1:30 in the morning, which really tells me, obviously, look, what Richie and everyone's built their rivals is great, but also like the fact that there's that much interest in Rutgers football right now, where people are staying up till 1:30 in the morning. Like get it tomorrow, right? You could find out, you could listen tomorrow. 200 people was wild. Obviously, look, you guys do a great job. That's but I'm just more marveling at the idea that there are 200 people on the internet at 1:30 in the morning. Who are these people? Like that, like
I
I,
I want to shake their hand for sitting through that alongside Richie and I. We were so ready to just go to sleep after that.
Oh no, but it was.
I
I could
did.
tell. I know. I caught a good chunk of that, and you guys did a really good job after the game. And I don't want to spend too much time on the Washington game, but if you're on YouTube here, we have this graphic from Parker Fleming on Twitter at StatsOWar, and he puts out these great, really cool data visualizations every week, very easy to understand. And one of the things that is always really interesting to see every week is the net success rate graph. And if you look at it on the screen right here, you can see that Rutgers, of all the teams, the major teams that played this weekend, nobody, I mean, we talked about it before, nobody was expected to lose more based on how they played more than Rutgers. You can see how far down that line goes. So basically the idea here is that anything where the bar goes up, the team that the numbers expected to win based on how the game went, those teams won. Anything to the left, those teams won, but the numbers say they didn't deserve to win at all. Again, it doesn't actually matter because that's Greg Schiano football, right? Just find a way to win, make the big plays in the red zone, third down, all that stuff. But it really is. Like I saw people again complaining about the defense, like. Maybe the defense isn't great. Maybe there are some holes in it. It doesn't matter though. It's like it's a 12-game season, right? Survive and advance. What is it that survive and advance? What is it that Mike Tomlin says? He says when they win a game on the road, you know what he says? He says they got out of the stadium alive. You get out of the stadium alive. You get out of the stadium alive, and you had a good night. And Rutgers got out of the stadium alive. I didn't believe until the field goal hit the ground. I didn't have a lot of belief that they were going to actually pull that game. I mean, when it almost happened, right? Washington almost stormed all the way back. But that was a fun night. Great. The game production was great. All of it was just fantastic. How did you turn out, by the way? Because you were in the parking lot before the game. You were dressed. You had long sleeves on, long pants. Did you end up sweating a lot? How'd that go for you?
It actually wasn't too hot in the press box, mostly because it was more humid than anything outside. So being inside, it wasn't that bad. So thankfully, or I at least, wasn't that sweaty. I was very sweaty outside, but and then it started raining as the game, or as before the game started, and then I think during the game as well. I don't think it ever really rained that hard. I think it was mostly just like there was like a lot of mist, but in the lights, it made it look like it was pouring. Right?
It
Is that
rained
accurate?
really hard when it first started raining for the first couple of minutes, and I'm sitting there like, oh, great, like this is just how it's going to be. But then it died down right away, and then it was just completely fine from that point.
Oh, that's good.
Not, I mean, it wasn't like a gross mist or whatever, but it wasn't anything that should have forced you to go back to the concourse or anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, what a night, man. I mean, I was just a fantastic evening at Washington, big time, or at Rutgers Stadium, against Washington. Trying to think if there's anything else from the game on Friday. What was my next slide on here? Oh, this was just zooming in on what the next thing was. I mean, it's wild. I mean, just not even close to being expected to win that game.
For what it's worth, I read these charts like every single game after every week on Mondays whenever Parker Fleming posts them. I have never seen one with that much discrepancy of the losing team having that much more of a success rate than the winning team.
I've never seen it go. I just as far as the bar graph is concerned, and just seeing like I can go back. Just seeing like kind of like you don't see that much of a difference. By the way, Penn State and Illinois, kind of a sneaky blowout. I didn't realize that game was not actually all that close.
Yeah, it was mostly like they couldn't really put up a lot of points, but they were in control for that entire game.
Well, that's kind of Illinois and Rutgers are kind of similar, right? They both play that kind of. I don't want to say it's not trash. Isn't the right word? Is it? It's not trash football. It's like pounding nails football. It's the same. Like, all right, we're gonna make the big plays, and we're gonna, we're gonna. I don't know. It's just it doesn't necessarily always look pretty, but Rutgers and Illinois are kind of in the same vein that way. All right. So next we have So this was something posted by Richard Kent on Twitter a couple days ago. Would you take the deal of going 1-1 over the next two and then beating UCLA to journey out to USC at 6-1, ranked number 18, with a bunch of national eyes on that night game? The obvious answer is to win them all. But is that the realistic and most pragmatic response? On another note, Rutgers is now 1 of 5 to not host game day. If Nebraska happens to be a W, shouldn't Wisconsin be a possibility for that crew? Maybe not the sexiest game, but perhaps the best storyline. Okay, I mean the game day part. I think there's like 7 other games that weekend that are like really big games.
Yeah, let me take a look at the schedule for that while we ponder the rest of that.
So we're actually asking, would we take 6-1? Yes, I would take 6-1, which means they would beat 2 of UCLA, Nebraska, and Wisconsin. Yeah, I think I would take them. Would anyone not? Are people greedy? Are there people out there who are greedy who want all 3?
I mean, I would obviously. I think most people would love to have all 3 games be wins, but I mean, if you're going 2-1 against Nebraska, Wisconsin, and UCLA coming into the season, that would be a win.
2-1 against those 3 teams. Maybe. Yeah. I mean, I think that both UCLA and Wisconsin are worse than people thought they would be. I mean, UCLA is awful, right? And Wisconsin is not awful, but I mean, Rutgers is going to be favored in that game. I would assume maybe by like 4.5, something like that. I think it'll be a little more than like the baked in home field advantage. Not a ton more. They're not going to give Rutgers that kind of respect, but 4.5, 5 points maybe in that game. So so they're a little down. So go ahead.
I have found the slate.
Okay.
For next week.
I'll pop it up on here. I'll get it. Let's see what we have. Remember, we have production value here on Sports Radio 1766. So let's get next week's schedule up here.
Let me just say before you even see it, there's no way that game day is coming to Piscataway.
Oh yeah,
there's absolutely no way.
Start listing them off. I'll get them. I'll get them in there. I'll get it on there.
All right. So so first we got Oregon versus Ohio State in Eugene, but that's already supposed to be on Peacock, NBC. So I mean that's technically not going to be on ESPN game day, but still. Penn State at USC at the Coliseum. So 2 top 11 matchups in the Big Ten.
Don't mind me, viewers. I'm trying to figure out the best way to show you this. Okay,
let's see some of the other good games in this slate. The Red River Showdown, Texas, Oklahoma. Now that game is going to be on ABC, so I would imagine that game day is going to go there.
How many times can they go to the Red River? How many times can they go to the same? They've been to the Red River rivalry, the Red River Shootout, like 100. How many times can they go? Yeah. Like, come on, let's do something else.
I mean, it is on ESPN. It's on ABC, so I mean, it seems like that'll be the obvious answer. Like game day, unless it is a truly transcendent matchup, usually they aren't going to go to a game that they don't have the broadcast.
They could go to UMass.
They could.
Missouri, UMass.
If they choose to not. Yeah. Oh boy, yeah. If they choose to not go to the Red River Showdown for whatever reason or rivalry or whatever it's called, it used to be called the Shootout, I think. Anyways,
the Red River
7:30. The 7:30 ABC. Yeah, the 7:30 ABC game is Ole Miss at LSU in Death Valley, so that's a pretty good contender as well.
So it's not going to be Rutgers, Wisconsin, is what you're saying.
No.
Okay.
However, there is a chance
I could
that
see it
they
being
do get
K-State, Colorado.
that would be something too. But there is a chance that they get big noon kickoff because that game is scheduled to kick off at noon.
Oh,
And
big! That is
according
big
to the
noon
release,
kickoff.
it's going to be
Right.
either Fox or Big Ten Network. So they could get big noon kickoff, which is, I mean, it's not the same as game day, but it's mostly there on the level of prestige, I think.
Big noon kickoff. It's such a weird name. Big noon kickoff. Like it's just a weird name for a pregame show. I never actually watched it. Is it good? I don't really know anything about it.
I don't usually watch it
Sanchez, Mark
either.
Sanchez, Matt Liner. Which one's on it?
I think it's
Both?
Matt Leinart.
Okay.
I think Urban Meyer's on it too. I think they have Mark Ingram now.
Oh, that's the one where Urban Meyer was. That one he was on the show, and then there was like a naked guy in the background a couple of years ago.
I
You know
think
what I'm
so.
talking about? Urban Meyer.
Not particularly.
There was a guy. No, there was a guy like with a bong in the background, and I think he was naked. Yeah, it was weird. It was some guy. I don't know, but it was a real thing that happened. You can look it up, Google it. But yeah, big noon kickoff. That would be cool. Have we had that before? We've had the BTN pregame show with like Jerry
Yes,
DiNardo. We've had that one before.
Yeah.
Have we had the? I don't think we haven't had big noon kickoff, right? I feel like I would have heard about that.
I don't believe so. No.
Okay. So we're both taking 6-1. Are we taking it? Are we not taking it? Should we make that?
I am.
That should be a poll. We haven't done that.
6-1.
We haven't been putting up polls. Let's put up a poll.
Yeah. I know I would take it. I'm not sure if our 4 viewers are greedier than you and I.
For Rutgers football going into the USC game. Okay, so that is everything I think on, well, not on Rutgers football, but we've now posted that poll. It is on the Twitter, so you can check that out. I'm trying to think what else about this. What did I have on here? Anything else on this list? Do what we need is a producer. We need someone else.
I mean, we do have an 8-time Emmy winner that sometimes helps us.
We do,
produce.
yeah.
Also known as
Emmy
just
winner?
texting Max about assorted things.
All right, so let's get to what did we have next? Okay, the Nebraska games. What do we have after this? Okay, so something I just noticed. I was looking through the game notes for the Rutgers and Nebraska game. So I've got some notes here. We'll get to that. So we have the NFL Knights. I don't like that Jonah Jackson isn't included in the NFL Knights. He's a grad. He's a Rutgers grad. Like he has a degree. And by all accounts, I've never heard a bad word about Jonah Jackson. Now, Alec kind of added in here a note, Raheem Blackshear and Travis Vokalek. I'm fine kind of with not, like, I get not doing Blackshear because he didn't graduate. Is Vokalek's a grad? No, maybe he's not. He might have left after his 3rd year. I don't think so. So I don't know. I don't know what to do with those guys, but Jonah Jackson should definitely, I feel like, be included in the montage and should be like on this list here. What a live! I still got 15 guys in the NFL. Of course, there's like a gap here where there's a lot of like you've also got a lot of guys who have been there for a long time, right? You got Michael Burton, Andrew DePaula, of course, obviously, what's his name? The McCourties, and who's the safety who's on those teams? I'm totally blanking on his name. Who was on the Patriots? Why can't I remember his name? That's embarrassing.
Well, there was Logan Ryan and Daron Harmon, the other 2 guys on the Patriots.
Yeah. Logan Ryan. I once ran into Logan Ryan's cousin at a gas station in the middle of Indiana at midnight because I was we're in a Rutgers hood. He's like, he comes out to me. He goes, "Do you know who? Do you know who Logan Ryan is?" I'm like, "Yeah." This is like the middle of nowhere in Indiana. I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, that's my cousin." I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool." Anyway, that was just one thing I noticed in the game notes. Let's get some more Nebraska stuff. All right, so we've got. By the way, shout out to the Rutgers people who make the game notes. Always a lot of useful stuff in here. So it's the first time, obviously, Rutgers has been 4-0 since 2012, which is really cool. I started 7-0 that year. Did you realize I didn't realize they were 2nd in red zone defense in the country.
Yeah,
That's I mean,
it's
that's really that tells you. That really tells you. That tells you kind of how they won that Washington game.
yeah, bending but not breaking.
Was there anything else here that I thought was interesting? 15-1 since 2020 when not committing a turnover. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean that's Shiano ball.
That is
Keep the
that's
ball.
Shannonball. Well, it has right at the 63 non-offensive touchdowns, 71 blocked kicks. I'm kind of disappointed they didn't block the kick at the end against Washington. I feel like that's always kind of the thematic ending to a big game. You always want the blocked kick. Though there was that UConn game in 2008 where they won on a doink, like it missed on a doink. That was pretty cool too.
That's always entertaining.
What's better?
Honestly,
what's more fun to win on a blocked field goal or on a doinked field goal?
Well, if you take the block for a touchdown, then that's definitely more. But if you just recover, if you just fall on it, I would say the doink is more entertaining because of like the up and down of it's good and then it's not.
Because it's like there's so much drama, right? Where like you think it's gonna go and then it doinks and there's that moment of
Panic.
A panic, and then you're waiting for it to hit the ground. And then there's always the rare double doink. I've never seen a double doink in person. They're very rare, obviously, but the double doink is always cool.
Yeah.
Something I didn't realize when I was looking through this is that Rutgers has this record and will probably never be caught. Has played the most games. Like Rutgers leads the country in most games played, and as long as
they don't shut down the program.
As long as the Rutgers 1000 doesn't get their way and they don't shut down the Rutgers football program, then Rutgers will always hold this record. We'll always hold the record for most games played. Do we have the most losses?
That's
I don't know. Yeah. Right. I mean, in theory, we probably do, right? Most losses in college. Yeah, let's see.
But also they were
Indiana's worse.
Okay.
Indiana has more losses than us. We're third.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like they were quite good back in the day.
Let me pop that on here. How do I see. Okay, so here we have the rankings, the most losses ever. Actually, we don't have that yet. How do I? Why am I failing? Okay, here we go. So here we have Indiana has the most losses ever at 713, Northwestern at 703, Rutgers 695. How this? The Rutgers with 673 wins. Among the losers, Rutgers has the most wins. Now, of course, that's mostly because they've been around for a long time. But if you look, their winning percentage not as bad as all of the other losers in the area. So Rutgers, I know they're at the bottom of these losses, and I don't want to catch. I mean, 18 losses behind Indiana. We could catch them. There was that. That's pretty funny. If you think back to like the last 10 years or so, that gap was probably a lot bigger 10 years ago, right? Because Indiana's been decent over the last 10 years. While
they were
Rutgers
also really bad the last few years, though.
Yeah, that's true. Kind of went back the other way. Indiana, by the way, we'll get to this in Max's tier time. Indiana's a wagon. Indiana's great.
Well, here's what I will say. Do we want to set it as a goal to get up to 500 by the end of the 2020s decade?
We're getting up to 500.
So 22 more wins than losses by the end of in the span of the rest of this year, and then until the end of 2029.
Okay, so that's 5 years. You have to average 4.5 games over 500 a year. That's right. That's like 9 wins a season. 8-9 wins a season. That's going to be rough.
That might be a little tough. Now, I didn't do the math before this. I'm glad you did.
Yeah.
I guess 2035.
If you're counting this year, no, that's actually that's 6 years. 2035, that would be 12. So yeah, you could do that. You could do 12 games over 500, or 22 games over 500 over a 12-year period. I don't think that's asking too much. Who's going to be the coach in 2035? That's the question.
That is the question.
Will Greg be around that long? I would say no. I don't know. I don't mean he's going to get fired. I mean, he's going to retire at some point, right? Or is he a lifer? I don't know.
I would imagine he will retire when he feels like he's done.
Well, one thing that I will say, and I don't want Greg Schiano to go anywhere. I'm glad he's here, but I do love a coaching search. Like I love coaching searches, and luckily, or not luckily for this part of me that loves a coaching search, we're not going to have a major coaching search. It would appear for a very long time. So that's kind of It's fortunate. It's great. Obviously, look, both program football and men's basketball in great spots. But I mean, who doesn't love a good coaching search?
Oh, we got a couple bangers from Mike Broadbent. We got a couple bangers in the chat from Mike Broadbent, who's joining the show in a few minutes.
Why can't I see? Oh, I see. Mike Broadbent getting. We got Wake Forest in Indiana, 420 winning percentage, and Shiano in 2035. If he was still around, he'd be 69 years old. Thanks, Mike, for your input there. So let us get back to our slideshow here. What do we have? We also have to get to. We're getting to James Kratch in just a moment here. He's here. He's ready to go. So let me just pop back to what I had before. That stuff. Come back later. Lincoln weather. All right. So now we are going to be joined by James Kratch. James, you're on Sports Radio 1766. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Sorry about the kind of lo-fi image. My wife's presenting, and her job is far more important than mine. So I'm just gonna chill here in this little corner.
No, that looks good. You got a nice little. You got a curtain there. I got curtains in my background. You can see Alex got the shades there. So the reason I asked James to come on is I saw him tweet earlier about how you're not sure if Rutgers football would have made the college football playoff in 2006. And so I never considered the idea of looking through that season through that prism. And so I find that really fascinating, the idea of considering whether or not that team would have made it, because if people remember, they finished 12th in the AP poll at the end of that season. So that's right, obviously kind of on the precipice of getting into the college football playoff. So present your case. Why? What do you think? Why do you think they might not have made it?
Yeah, so I think they definitely would not have made it either. And there's two ways of looking at this. The first way you look at it is, which I think is the smart way to look at it, is you have to take the current playoff rules and apply them to the landscape, which was basically 20 years ago at this point, where we had Big East, we had the WAC. I mean, you had so many more conferences. So remember, it was a great season. Rutgers still finished third in the Big East. And I believe you had an undefeated Boise State in the WAC. You had a really good BYU team, in the Mountain West. You had that was the 9-6 Wake Forest, Georgia Tech ACC title game, with Georgia Tech and Calvin Johnson. You had Oklahoma and Texas win. So I guess my point is, if you only had 5 conference champions and one of them was a group of 5, Rutgers isn't a conference champion. And then you get to the 7 at-large bids, and, obviously West Virginia is ahead of Rutgers. In this situation, Wake Forest wins the ACC, has 11 wins. They're not going to be an automatic qualifier for a champions bid. So they're now in the at-large pool. They might be ahead of the Scarlet Knights. I'm looking that year in the Big Ten, Ohio State won the Big Ten at 12-1. You had 11-2 Michigan, 12-1 Wisconsin, 9-4 Penn State.
So we've got the rankings here.
Yeah.
This is week. Actually, these don't have the numbers on them, which is kind of annoying. But we can figure
I assume it's the order. Yeah.
All right. So we've got it here, December 3rd, the last rankings, right? So these are the teams that are definitely in, right? Ohio State, Florida, Michigan, LSU. Yeah. Louisville is who won West Virginia won the Big Ten, the Big East, right?
No, Louisville won the Big East.
They won because they won. That's right. Rutgers wasn't it was a 3-way tie, but it wasn't no, West Virginia lost twice. Who'd they lose to?
West Virginia lost twice. Rutgers lost twice. Louisville lost once.
That's right. Okay. And then if Rutgers had won, they would have had the tiebreaker, right? So Wisconsin's obviously in, that's 6. Oklahoma's in, that's 7. USC's in, that's 8. Undefeated Boise State is the auto qualifier,
G5,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. And then Auburn is in, so that's 10. I guess Notre Dame's going to make it at 11. And then it would be one of these other teams. West Virginia would have to get in over Rutgers because they just beat Rutgers. So that's it. Rutgers doesn't make the playoff.
Exactly. Yeah, they don't make the playoff. And even if, as I said, even if you did the whole, like some people do, like, let's pretend all the we're take the 2006 season results and pretend that everyone's in the league they are in today. Well, like, I got the standings right here. So we got four really good. Yeah, that doesn't work. And we have four really good Big Ten teams already. And let's look at the Pac-12, Pac-10. Yeah, USC was 11-2. You know, I mean, so you get to that. Actually, let's just for the hell of it, ACC. Yeah, Maryland went 9-4 in 2006. You know, like, so
this is disappointing. This is so disappointing.
It is, but like, I think this is and I've been saying this for a while. Like, obviously, like I write local newsletters, and now I don't do college football anymore. So my platform is not what it used to be. Not that I ever had much of a platform. I was the Rutgers beat writer, for crying out loud. But
at the time that you were, at least.
Yes. The whole playoff expansion has been like the Nancy Pelosi, like, we got to pass the bill to find out what's in it thing. It's like they created this tournament and no one ever seemed to think about how it's going to work. Like the whole conversation in the summer of, oh, maybe being the 5 seed is the best thing in the tournament. And it's like, yeah. And guess why Notre Dame agreed to this format? Because Jack Swarbrick was the only guy in the past 15, 20 years that didn't have to be completely reactionary and it could actually like take a breath and think through things. You know, he's in a room with all these commissioners who are.
Why is the 5 seed the best? Why is that the best one?
Okay, so if you're the 5 seed, which means you're the highest, so the top 4 seeds have to be conference champions. Okay, so if you're the 5 seed, you are the best non-conference champion in the country. So most years, that could be the number 2 or 3 ranked team in the country. Like let's put it this way. So let's say Oregon beats Ohio State next week. And then they meet again in the Big Ten title game and Ohio State wins. Well, Ohio State's the 1 or 2 seed. They're the Big Ten champion. Oregon is going to be the 5 seed. Or like, let's say Georgia and Alabama meet in the SEC title game and Georgia wins. Well, Alabama's the 5 seed. So the thing is, the 5 seed is going to be either, you know, the top 2 or 3, number 2, 3 team in the country. They're going to host a first-round home game against the group of 5 champions. We basically have decided, like, it's not a rule, but basically everyone's decided the group of 5 team has to be the 12th seed, which I think is kind of bullshit because it's like, what happens if Army goes undefeated? What happens if, you know, like James Madison goes undefeated? The idea like they just automatically must be the 12th seed is kind of ridiculous.
I don't know if it'll end up that way, right? I think that, I mean, depending on who, I'm trying to think of who this year, like if UNLV, I guess if UNLV is like goes undefeated, they'll still be the 12. I don't think it would have to be like a Boise State that beat Oregon. I guess that if they did that, they might not end up as the 12, right? It would have to be something
but like
that.
Okay, so they're the 11, like, because we can get to say, like, this whole thing is rigged for the Big Ten and SEC. So they're going to play.
I mean, that's
your 5 seed.
Why wouldn't it be?
Well, exactly. You're a 5 seed. You're going to play the 12 seed. You're going to play a group of 5 team in the first round. You should win. And then you're going to play the 4 seed in a bowl game. The 4 seed being the lowest ranked, the 4th ranked conference champion. That's going to be maybe a team that's ranked like 15th to 20th in the country.
And it's a team that would be playing. I mean, they wouldn't even, their bye isn't even really a bye because they're going to be in a conference title game. So it's not even, they don't even really have a bye. Like, so Notre Dame's obviously going to play in a conference title game. So it's like, okay, so sure, we'll be the 5, like whatever.
Which is why, like, I actually, like, it'll never happen. Like, I'm sure there'd be massive lawsuits. But like, if I'm Oregon, if I beat Ohio State in 2 weeks and I finish regular season 12-0, part of me wants to just, I refuse to show up to the Big Ten championship game.
There's no reason to, because they're going to make the
why would I do
anyway,
this?
Right?
Yeah, exactly. There's no, which is why I think the conference title games are eventually going to go.
Or play backups.
Or play backups. Yeah, or just play backups.
That's what's going to happen. Well, if you're undefeated, I feel like maybe you might want to go for the undefeated season. Maybe some people would.
It doesn't even matter anymore.
But there's something. I feel
like going 16-0.
I'm saying
there's something different about going 16-0.
If 12-0 Rutgers rest their starters in the Big Ten title game, I'm going to be very disappointed. All right.
You would be disappointed, but like Rutgers is never going to do that. But if you're
Never going to
Ohio
go 12-0
State,
or rest every. No, I know. Go ahead.
even if Rutgers goes 12-0, they're not going to rest them. Okay, but if you're Ohio State and you got all this, you're spending millions. Like the only thing that matters to Ohio State is they win a national title. Like no one cares. These people. Let's go back to 2020. These Ohio State fans did not want to play Michigan, the most sacred and holy rivalry in college sports, arguably, because they thought it wouldn't help them win a national title. Like, that's the truth. I mean, it didn't get played with Michigan at COVID, but they were willing to basically throw Michigan overboard because, if we play Wisconsin, it's better for our CFP rankings. Like, the TV networks want to create a little mini NFL we do on Saturdays. And the commissioners, greedy bastards, have this followed the money, but as I said, they have no idea where the money's taking them. So yeah, the 5 seed is gonna have a better draw than the other 3 teams. And they were like, how could you didn't think it through. That's why you have this situation. And I think we're getting the same situation now where like every Rutgers fan, we would have made it in 06. Well, no, you wouldn't have. Because everything's stacked against you.
Yeah,
and then people we still go to
the Texas Bowl, right, or whatever the
still go to the Texas Bowl, yeah. And we do these like bubble watches. I see like the Athletic, CBS, they do these bubble watches, and people are like, well, how did this Ole Miss team that just got embarrassed by Kentucky at home, how are they still like the last team out? And I'm like, well, that's what you created. You created a system.
You think you're going to get? I mean, people are going to complain about the 9-3 SEC team that gets in, right? That'll be Ole Miss, right? That made South Carolina. Someone's getting into the college football playoff from the SEC at 9-3, and people they're gonna point like, I don't know, 10-2 Illinois is probably, are they getting in? I don't know.
No, I don't know.
Does the SEC have more power than the Big Ten? I just, it's going to be so weird to see how this all plays out.
So I think there's 12, right? So
yeah.
The ACC, the Big 12, and the Group of 5 are going to get 3. That's 9. I would assume that if I had to guess, I think the Big 10 or the SEC is going to get 5, the Big 10 is going to get 4. That's what it's going to be like.
But then what you're going to end up with is like, you could end up with what, like 11-1 Kansas State, like not getting in. I guess would that happen? I guess it would depend on how the Big 12 title game played out. Like
I think an 11-1.
I think people would have a really bad reaction to specifically a Big 12 team that get. I mean, we've seen it before at the Big 12, right? That season where was it? TCU and Baylor both got left out of the college football playoff.
It was the first one.
They were 5 and 6, right?
Exactly.
They both got left out. And I think you're going to end up. I mean, the Big 12 and the ACC, probably the Big 12 is going to get really screwed here out of a spot.
I think the Big 12 is going to have, because I think the Big 12 top to bottom is a much stronger league. So those teams are going to accumulate 1 or 2. Like, I definitely think we could get to a point where we have like a 1-loss like ACC runner-up that gets left out. And this gets back to the other thing. This started my whole thing with tweet is that at least back in the day, if Duke like went 11-2 and like was the ACC runner-up, Duke is going to the Orange Bowl. Like they still have something great to celebrate this massive season and achievement. But now, because we put all of the big bowl games into this playoff, it's like, congratulations, Duke. You're going to the Music City Bowl, December 30th. Yeah, 8-4 Illinois.
Congratulations, you're going to Detroit.
Exactly, you're going to Detroit. So let's say like Rutgers could win 9 games this year, 10 games. The great, like if they go 9-3 in the Big Ten and like beat USC or beat Wisconsin, it's the best season in school history. Congratulations, you're going to the guaranteed rate bowl against Cincinnati. Like that sucks.
Yeah, I mean, you say so 10-2. 10-2 is not getting us in 9. Like I feel like. I guess it's not. I guess I think you're gonna have. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I guess our schedule's not great either, right? People will say, "Well, you're in the Big Ten, but you didn't really play anybody."
Yeah, right? I think, and you also you go back to the rankings when everyone was ranked in 2006. People were ranking it based on like what's going on in the field. Like the committee's human. You cannot tell me that they are not going to start massaging their rankings early on. Because they don't. It's like the Big Ten tiebreakers. They know, like they would never admit it, but like deep down in some bunker in Rosedale, wherever the hell is outside Chicago, the Big Ten's got to be like, well, like, what if happens if like Illinois, like, or Minnesota goes 11-1 1 year?
I just found that existed, that Big Ten Command Center or whatever for replays. Yeah. Did anyone else know that? Because they showed it on the broadcast, I don't know, whatever game I was watching. I didn't know that existed. That's great. Finally, everyone should have one of those.
Yeah, no, they should. And of course we're gonna have it, because we're now talking about the mini NFC and the mini AFC. Like, that's what we have now. But I'm sure they sat there like, well, what are we going to do if, like, we get to a year where, like, Ohio State, Michigan, and Minnesota all go 11-1, and somehow Minnesota wins a tiebreaker? Well, that's going to suck, because we're going to have this, like,
PJ Fleck NCAA violations planted, like immediate need to be fired, or the Minnesota's ineligible.
Exactly, you know. So I'm sure the committee, if they're looking at it, they're going to look down the road and be like, okay, well, like, how do we massage this? And like, it's total conspiracy theory thinking. But like, if it's 10-2 Rutgers and 10-2 LSU, who do you think the committee is going to find a way to get in?
They'll figure it out. By the way, we have it up on the screen on YouTube here. This is the old BCS, the old rank. There's a whole website with like all the old BCS rankings on it. And what a beautiful ranking system this was. It's just, let's just look at it. It's beautiful. All the numbers here. I don't know anything about most of these people. I don't know who Billingsley is, but I you know, you always look for the Billingsley. You know, you got all of these random computer rankings here, and the 0.9994%. And one of the great things, Alec, was that in the college football video game, they had the BCS rankings in the game, and it was like all made up. And I kind of feel like this was superior. I feel like the BCS was better. I know. I feel like it was
1,000% superior.
Yeah. The funny thing is, like, I'm just kind of here, and I wasn't like sentient with football in 2006. I was 5 years old, so this is all not new, but it's like
it's Alec's birthday. I need like a banner.
Oh, happy birthday!
Yeah,
thank you.
I was gonna put on a banner on the. I'll get a.
Montez Mathis here. Wow.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
A blast in the past.
Well, he did. That wasn't even his number for his full career before he changed it to 10, or the other way around, or something.
I think he was definitely 23 at Rutgers. Was he 10 at St. John's?
I think he was 23 at St. John's, and I think he was also 23 at Rutgers at some point. But then he was also 10 at some point as well. No, let me check.
Montez Mathis number research here on Sports Radio 1766. James Kratch here breaking down the 2006 BCS standings and the college football playoff.
It's so funny you mentioned that, Alec. Was like, I was at Rutgers. I was on the beat writer, but like, basically, like, I think I covered one Rutgers basketball game post pandemic. I think I attended one game. Like, it was just like, it was like Fonseca was ascendant, and I met my now wife at the time, and I was just like, I don't need to be at the, like, I've never been a big college basketball guy. So like, I covered the game against Maryland. It was amazing. They're going to the tournament. The world ends. And I think I went back to one game. It was like, they played Iowa, I think.
Well, would have been you and like
2 games. I take that
people
back.
And then a bunch of cardboard cutouts, and then the players, right, and the coaches and everything, and then a bunch of cardboard cutouts.
Yeah, I covered more wrestling matches during the pandemic than basketball. Like, I didn't go to any of the pandemic season games.
You got anything on Rutgers wrestling this year? You've been following, keeping up with it?
You know, I was really excited. Obviously, Sebastian Verrett. Like, I think that for all the crap good he gets, the guy has now had 2 national champions. He's a world champion. He's had a medalist. Like, you can, any dream you have as a wrestler, you can accomplish in that Rutgers wrestling room. And I think that's something they need to get out there. And obviously, they got to, beat one of the big boys in a dual meet and everything. But yeah, like, the amount he's accomplished, like, this could be controversial, proportionally, not counting like all the, the, obviously, if the attention and national exposure, everything, proportionally, he has built the program up more than I think you could even argue Shiano has.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean they were about to cut the program. They were in the College Avenue gym in front of 13 people. Now they got a Olympic medalist. So
I once I was lost. I was looking for the bathroom in the College Avenue gym when I was taking classes there to get certified as a teacher, and I was going to the gym, I was going to play basketball, and I was looking for a bathroom, and I was just like, I was lost in the basement, and I just like walked into their practice, and like it's in the middle, I'm just like standing in the middle of the gym, and all these like people are looking. It was a really, and I made it a million times more awkward than it needed to be. But that was my experience. That was actually when I found out that they practiced. I mean, I can't lie. I did not pay a lot of attention to Rutgers wrestling throughout my life, paying attention to Rutgers sports, and I didn't know they practiced there until like I literally walked into their practice accidentally. So that was a fun experience.
They practice there, and like, you know, obviously wrestlers, like when they practice, like they want like heat on, you know, like so, but there was like a real concern, like when you turn up the thermostat, like if someone forgot to turn it off, like the barn might burn to the ground. Like it was like people who really were like, okay, look, we need to be careful with this.
Yeah, it would get real hot in there. I recall it getting real hot in there. All right, James. Well, thanks for coming. I'll have to have you on again. I want to have you on to discuss some of your like zany ideas to fix sports, because you're always coming up with like ridiculous, fun, insane ideas to like make sports better. And so we got to have you on and maybe have you propose some stuff sometime.
This is like a prime time for me in that pursuit. It's MLB wild card time.
Oh, right, that's right. I totally forgot that was on.
Yeah.
No score, top of the second inning, Tigers and Astros.
It could be the best
Brown on the
2 days of the year for Major League Baseball, but they choose not to do that.
Well, wait, what makes it? Well, that's the thing is that see now I'm intrigued. All right, real quick, because we got to get to Mike Brock. Real quick, how do you make these days better? This is the debut of Kooky Kratch for Kratch Fixes Sports.
I got a segment. Okay, game one, like they did yesterday, play for all 4 game ones. Today, game 2 starts, let's say noon Eastern time, half-hour staggered start times. If the series is tied at 1 after the end of game 2, you play a doubleheader. 40 minutes after the completion of game 2, game 3 starts. The lower seed becomes the home team.
This is now like the NCAA. You've made like an NCAA tournament baseball.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Trademark it. October Madness. Complete chaos. And you put major emphasis on winning your division and finishing top 2 in your league. Okay. And then the winners get on a plane and they go. The divisional series starts tomorrow.
And that changes your strategy a lot with like pitching.
Changing
because
your strategy entirely.
You gotta fill 18 plus innings perhaps in a day. I like this.
18 plus innings in a day. You got to turn around. You know, maybe you say Thursday is an off day for everyone to kind of buffer for rain. And I also think you should reseed. Like, obviously, we'll see what happens. But the idea that the Yankees finish first place in the American League and their reward is a 5-day layoff, followed by having to play the Orioles in a 5-game crapshoot. Like, that's not much.
Well, the baseball playoffs are already, kind of a crapshoot.
They're a total crapshoot. Now that we have 6 teams in. But, like, even then, it's like reward the teams that finish in the top 2 and just create chaos. Like, the wild card series should, like, put pressure on teams to manage game 1 and game 2 differently, because game 3 is complete insanity.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, James. Well, thank you so much for coming on. We'll have you on
Thank
again
you for having
soon.
me.
And yeah, thanks a lot.
You got it.
All right, that was James Kratch joining us of the newly minted Kooky Kratch here on Sports Radio 1766. So what I want to do now is I want to throw it to a break, and then we'll come back with Mike Broadbent. We'll have our gambling segment, and we will get to Rutgers football simulated season. So let's play a little. We're gonna play a little video for you right now. We got they always do a good job with the night flicks that they put up on YouTube, and I think they put it up on Twitter too. The Rutgers athletic department. These are always great. So check this out, and then we'll come back after this with Mike Broadbent on Sports Radio 1766.
This is to tie the game officially from 56 left hash. Gross is ready. The snap, little high spot, kick on its way, end over end, got the distance, buddy! It is a lovely evening in Piscataway, New Jersey, 66 degrees. There is some slight rain, but not very much. And when I say lovely, the forecast pretty good for tonight as Rutgers gets set for their Big Ten opener. The Scarlet Knights hosting the University of Washington Huskies.
Rutgers fans, welcome to the Blackout.
Tonight, you have a chance
and beat a conference opponent on a Friday night in a blackout in a game that you're favored, but you have to go prove it now on the field. I think the Scarlet Knights have the tools to do that.
Fans have been filtering in all afternoon. It has been jam-packed in the parking lot.
Facing a Washington team who was just in the national championship last year at your place in a blackout game. This is why you play college football. This is a conference matchup. Rutgers has a lot to prove.
Show me who you are. Show me who you are. Let's go. You fuel your fire by you. One play at a time. You chop.
On Fox tonight.
Jack Scullione set to kick off for Rutgers, and it'll be 1st and 10 for Washington Huskies at their own 25. Rogers out of the shotgun, setting it up screen left for Coleman. Keontae Hamilton, not fooled at all. 4th down and 9. Steps up in the pocket, fires deep downfield, incomplete. We've got 7.5 to go here in the opening quarter, scoreless between Rutgers and Washington.
Coleman on a stretch play. Aaron Lewis, 71, the defensive end, the first to get there.
Rogers quick looking on play action as they hurry it up. Another 1st down. He fakes the handoff. He'll run it himself in a sweep to the outside. Will be near a 1st down, but shy at the 5-yard line.
Rogers, fade pattern, incomplete, and again a mix-up.
Grady Gross is on to attempt the field goal. Good snap. Placement down. Kick is up, and it is good. So Washington takes a 3-0 lead on a 10-play, 69-yard drive. He fires over the middle, caught, 1st down and more. Steps up in the pocket, gets away, gonna pull it down and run. Up the middle, dives forward to the 30-yard line. He's gonna fire over the middle and connects, 1st down. Monunga the call. Up the middle, wins the battle as he just pushes Washington's linebacker into the end zone for a Rutgers touchdown. Terrific atmosphere here tonight for the blackout at SHI Stadium. They'll hand it off to Monunga. Starts up the middle, cuts back right, slithers through a hole and explodes. 30, 35, 40, out near midfield. Pressure coming, hits KJ Duff in the crossing route at the 40-yard line. Down inside the 37 to the 36. Alec is lofting it left. Ian Strong pulls it down.
It's caught, high-pointed, Ian Strong touchdown.
A massive change in momentum. And the Scarlet Knights will go into the locker room with a 14-3 lead.
Block, run it. That makes sense? Number 2 in the game, I already talked about that.
Stay focused on that spot. Trust your training and just keep your head down and chop. You got me?
Yes, sir.
Let's go.
Listen to this crowd. They are excited.
Takes the handoff. He'll run left. He's got a huge hole inside the 40. Down the far sideline, 30. Down inside the 20.
Pass is incomplete. Longerbeam was right there with him.
Washington 0 for 1 on 4th down today. Rogers play action to throw into the end zone. Incomplete. Rutgers holds up on defense.
You do! What an outstanding job by Cal Monunga of just running through tackler.
Has now moved into 7th place on the Rutgers rushing list. Guess who he just passed? Isaiah Pacheco. Will Rogers to throw out to the right. It's caught for the tight end out across the 20-yard line.
Oh, that was a heck of a hit.
Dumps it over the middle. It's Clark. First down and more for Denzel Boston down the far sideline to the 20, to the 10, and he'll take it in for the Washington touchdown. And the Huskies have cut into the Rutgers lead. They've got a 14-10 lead through 3. Tough catch by Ian Strong. Delayed handoff, it's Brown. First down and more. Off tackle, a Brits and tackle. Adios, compadres! Touchdown, Rutgers! Will fire it over the middle. It is tipped away by Flip Dixon. Ball is batted down and nearly intercepted. Left corner of the end zone for a touchdown. Denzel Boston. And the 2-point conversion is good. Throwing left incomplete. Robert Lauderbean breaks it up on the left sideline. This is to tie the game officially for 56 left hash. The snap, little high spot, kick on its way. Missed it! Wide to the left, and the score. Hold on! 21 games, final score! Rutgers comes away with the victory over the Washington Huskies.
Back here on Sports Radio 1766, I believe. Are we back? I can be heard. You guys can hear me. Mike Broadbent now joining the show. Maiden voyage on Sports Radio at 1766. Welcome. Mike and I have actually never talked or met or anything like internet spoken, but I've never actually I've seen Mike obviously on his show. But hi, Mike. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too. We've talked a lot about futures betting, but not necessarily anything else. So it'll be nice to expand our conversations a little bit.
So we are here with Mike. We're going to talk, I guess, some Rutgers football, right? We'll talk some of that. We got to get Richie on here sometime. I feel like that's like the next we've had. I mean, I don't know who else we need to get to, but we still need Adam. Adam Helfgott still has not been 8-time Emmy winner. Adam has still not been on.
Princeton's going to try to show up in full force and be, we made a tournament. We made far. We smart. Like, dude, you got to get ran up and down the court.
That's right. Richie has been on the show before. That is right. Richie's voice has been on the show before. So Mike, were you so we can talk Rutgers basketball? The TV schedule just came out, right? We've got games on Peacock, or at least one game on Peacock.
It looks like Alec was able to screen grab it. We could talk about it. This is a bit breaking here.
Ooh, are we so I see yourself. We have a link that was sent in the chat by Alec with the schedule, the TV schedule, I guess. But it's now down off the internet. It's been taken off. It's been forward for whatever reason. Alec, your mic, I think, is really low.
How about now?
You're good now. Yeah, you're
okay.
in now.
There we go. Yeah, it got 404 for some reason. I don't really know why, but Adam N was able to get a screenshot of it. So shout out to him. He's actually here right now in the video.
Yeah. So we got a 404 error. What does that mean? I don't know.
Some serious conspiracies going through my head right now.
So it was there was a game on Peacock. The Merrimack game was on Peacock, which
there's a lot of games on Peacock this year.
A lot of Rutgers games on Peacock, or just one?
From what we just from that screenshot, Rutgers has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games on Peacock.
Wow, so. You're gonna need Peacock then this year.
Yeah, people need to get comfortable with the cock this year.
Okay, look. If you are a Rutgers fan, you have been, and I'm looking at it this way. I'm doing this with tickets and stuff. I am looking at it as this is the season to spend money. This is the season. If you've been saving up your money, use it this year. Okay, you use it all up. Get Peacock. Go to Newark for the Princeton game. Tickets went on sale on Monday. Go to this is the year. Go wild for it. And a lot of games you gotta get the Peacock for all the games on Peacock. Yeah,
Only one game
now,
on
but
Big
also
Ten
maybe
Plus
not.
this
Maybe not. I
year.
don't know. We don't know. We have big controversy here with this 404 error. I don't know what's going on.
According to the screenshot, only one game on Big Ten Plus.
So
and
we
that
should
is
be able
the St.
to
Peter's game.
share. We should be able to share an image, right? You don't necessarily have to have a.
Yeah. I guess we could get to that. But let's look at what did I want to get to? I wanted. The cat. What's the cat's name, Mike? Mike's got his cat here on Sports Radio
So
1766.
my cat, her name's Penny. She has
Penny?
an obsession with hopping on my lap while I'm
Oh.
trying to do,
Penny.
anything related to either work or podcasting. So
what I wanted to talk about, what I thought would be fun, is Rutgers football against Nebraska football, which is a gridiron matchup that is happening on the field on Saturday. What's the name of their stadium? Memorial? Is it
There's
Memorial?
like 5 different Memorial stadiums in the Big Ten. That is
It's
one.
only 5. Lincoln Memorial. Yeah, so they're there at that stadium, and they are playing in a football game that is a big deal. Someone called it like the game of the weekend. I saw someone on Twitter said this is like the game of the weekend, which I can get down with. Sure, the game of the week.
Something Stevens. He's always doing
Ben Stevens.
Ben Stevens.
Yeah. All right. Well, Ben Stevens, whoever you are, it's your game of the week, and I'm in. I think it is the game of the week. What do we do? Do we have any feeling how this game is going to go? I don't. I have no idea. What do we know about Iowa? I know they have Raiola. He's good. He's trying to he's literally trying to be Patrick Mahomes. He's just trying to steal his entire thing, and that's scary. But I don't really know a lot else about Nebraska other than Matt Rule. So what do we know about Nebraska?
So I wrote about 2,000 words up on this matchup for Rutgers Rivals that I put out yesterday.
Rutgers.rivals.com.
I think the keys to this game, I wrote 5 keys, and they're not Danny's keys, but the 5 keys I see to winning this game. Rutgers, no surprise, they got to establish the run and dictate the tone of this game. Nebraska's not a great run defense, and Rutgers has only played, I think, 7 minutes all season from behind. So I don't really want to go into that experiment this week where we're down for a lot of the game. Raiola's got an advanced kind of command of the offense, but he's still only 18. He hasn't seen everything a college defensive coordinator could throw at him. So I think we just kind of got to throw the kitchen sink at him, throw a lot of exotic blitzes, change up coverages constantly, just do anything you can to make him uncomfortable, because when he's pressured, he only completes 47% of his passes versus 77% when he's kept clean. So ideally, you kind of rough him up a bit. Easier said than done, given Rutgers' pass rush situation. Nebraska's special teams are a total disaster. They've had 3 blocked kicks this year and a blocked punt. They had 2 blocked kicks in the first half against Purdue last week. Just everything's bad about their current special teams unit, from snaps to holds to kicks. They're 4 of 9 on the season kicking with a long of 30.
People got to check out this story that Mike wrote, because it is long and it is very, I obviously haven't read it all this quickly. It is great. Rutgers.rivals.com/news/how Rutgers football can defeat Nebraska this weekend, or you can just find it in a non-insane way. But it's really
all hyphens
it's
in
really
between,
it's great. There's so much in here that you should check out. I've got it up on YouTube here. But anyway, go on. I'm just impressed by the depth of that's why you guys, not Mike Broadbent wasn't there. That's why Rivals, you guys have 200 viewers at 2:00 in the morning with Rutgers football, because you guys are doing a great job with this stuff. And also in the screen share, there's Mike and Richie talking. He's got an Inception
with Mike
kind of situation.
talking here.
Yeah, Mike is talking.
I don't know how that's set up, but that's pretty cool.
Anyway, go on. You were actually making a good point before I interrupted you. Go ahead.
No, you're good. So obviously, Rutgers has under Greg Schiano blocked 71 punts and kicks, like you mentioned earlier from the information. So this seems like a prime mismatch for Rutgers to take advantage of. They almost blocked a few punts and kicks earlier in the year. I think that's a key to winning this game is a big play on special teams. Dylan Raiola does like to hold the ball a little bit, but he doesn't scramble. He just likes to keep his eyes downfield and try and let things open up for his receivers. And he throws up a lot of 50-50 balls. Last week, they had 4 DPIs called against Purdue on deep passes from Raiola. So I think he knows how to play the game, getting penalties called. And the last is, since Nebraska's kicking situation is so bad, I think Rutgers defense needs to be prepared to basically expect 4 down type offense from Nebraska the whole game, especially once they get past the 50. Anything like 4th and 6 or shorter, Nebraska's probably going to go for it. So just mentally being prepared for that kind of approach all game is going to be really important in my opinion.
So one of the things I was impressed by, this is also just totally apropos of nothing. So there's a really interesting page in the Rutgers game notes of like the records under Greg Schiano when certain things have happened. And one thing that I found really interesting, they're 52-19 under Greg Schiano when they go 40% on third downs. 40% is not that, like, it's not that high. So like that's the one record I looked at here where I said, wow, 52-19 when you merely convert 40% of third downs is a pretty good, I feel like that should be the goal. That like the fact that under the other way that like they basically under Greg Schiano, they don't win if they don't get 40% on third down. They're 39 and 76 when they're under 40% on third down. I thought that was a really interesting stat.
Well, Rutgers is actually converting a really high rate for our program standards on third downs this year. 51%, that's 17th nationally. And Nebraska is one of the worst in the Power 4 in terms of third down conversion rate allowed at 39.7%. So that's another mismatch that Rutgers will need to take advantage of. And I think they've been converting so many third downs this year because they've just been able to stay on schedule so consistently. Like I was talking to Aaron Brightman about this where, think about last year when a play would break down on 1st and 10 and Gavin, he wouldn't necessarily make mistakes. He just would not put the ball into any in harm's way, nor would he attempt to like get those easy 4 yards, to the running back that had like leaked out of the backfield or that were just right in front of his face. Ethan goes for those every time. So we are rarely in a situation where it is 2nd and long, 3rd and long, because we take those easy yards to set up 2nd and manageable, 3rd and manageable. And Rutgers, I believe, is 3rd in down to yards to go on 3rd down in the FBS as well. I think it's like it averaged 3rd and like 5.3 on the year. So this has been a pretty consistent trend throughout the season.
That was great. Again, you got to check out Mike's thing that he wrote on Rutgers.rivals.com with much of this information in there. I'd like to find those stats. If you can actually find those stats on where you got those on 3rd and to go, because that's a really interesting stat that I
just sent it to you. There's a really awesome site called GameOnPaper.com. It's one of the only sites I've found that has some really diverse.
Oh, this is dope.
Advanced analytics for college football.
This is cool. Yeah, there's actually one of the things about. So I was doing stats for Rutgers Football Radio for 13 years. That you notice is that there's not a lot of great like stats websites out there for college football. Like and college basketball. Like there's KenPom, but like overall, there's not a lot of great college basketball. And you see like all of these bracketologists and these guys with their rankings. And there's Evan Maya, and then there's KenPom, and then there's Bart, and it's kind of like this weird kind of group of internet people that have popped up, but there's not as many of those for football. We mentioned Parker Fleming before. We talked Stats of War. There's this website. I'd like to see more of these football advanced sites pop up because people are definitely getting more interested in it. So anyway, this is cool. I'd have to find the 3rd down thing. Oh, here it is. The average 3rd down distance. It's 5.31 yards per 3rd down. That's crazy because one of the jokes around here was that, like the frustrations during the Chris Ash era is that in an early Greg Schiano is that it's always 3rd and 8. It would always be 3rd and 8, and they throw a 3-yard out route, and then you punt. It's never 3rd and 8 anymore. 3rd and 5 average that's good, and that's what you're looking for. And but neither of these teams, by the way, something you should be looking for on Saturday. They don't turn the ball over, and they're very good at turnover margin. Rutgers, they are 31st in the country in turnover margin. Nebraska 18th, and neither of these teams, I believe, have thrown an interception this year.
We threw one against Akron.
That's right. Nebraska.
I feel like everyone forgets that one.
Well, it was kind of like an arm punt anyway.
Yeah, it's also easy to forget about interceptions against Akron when they won the game. What was the score of the Akron game? I don't remember at this point, but it was
like 49-17.
Yeah, so like you don't kind of forget the interceptions. And then there was the interception that could have been in the Akron game that ended up being a touchdown, right? That ended up getting knocked into.
Yeah, the KJ Duff.
Yep. Yeah, in the corner there. So one thing going on Saturday, I've got the weather up here on YouTube. It is going to be hot. 96 degrees. 96 degrees, hot and windy, right? At 20 to 30 miles an hour. You don't hear a lot of hot, windy days. This probably will end up being, and on the field, it's obviously hotter than 96. One of the hottest games that Rutgers football has ever played. I mean, how often is it? Obviously, it's rarely 96 degrees in October, but it's very rarely 96. Like, it's just that's gonna have to be. I don't know if that's information that we have access to.
I feel like if they went down to Miami earlier on in the year, back in the Big East era, that was probably comparable at the very least in terms of humidity too.
Right. Well, as far as the feel, it was probably higher. I don't know if it gets. We'd have to have our resident Sports Radio 1766 meteorologist Mike chime in on this, but I don't know if at 96. I don't know if it gets that hot. 96 in Miami. I feel like it's like maybe lower than that, humid. I don't know, but maybe. I don't know if they were also ever going down there in September back then. But anyway, it's going to be one of the hottest days that Rutgers has ever played, and you would assume it's a factor. It's also going to get cooler as the game goes on, as you mentioned, because the game's at 4, probably end around 7:30, and the sun will be setting by then. It won't be down to 50 like it says on here, but maybe down into like the lower 80s or high 70s. So you don't normally think about the heat becoming a factor in the game in October, but it looks like it could be.
I know that Schiano had talked about how hot the game was at Blacksburg, and I'm looking at the AccuWeather history, and it says it was only a high of 82. But I forget who was telling me this, but Nebraska, when Matt Rule got there, they switched sidelines because the home team used to be in the sun for these games.
I think Greg said
for afternoon games. Yeah, it was Greg. So Rutgers is going to be in the sun. So I do wonder if they're going to set up some kind of awnings or temporary cover that the team could sit under. But I think the more interesting thing is the 20 to 30 mile an hour winds with higher gusts. That's going to really affect the passing game. And I think that's going to be an advantage for Rutgers because, Nebraska does not have a very good running game.
A lot of their offenses here, Dylan Raiola, do something for us, right?
Exactly. Yep. So I do think that could be a benefit, but if they're totally gassed from sitting in almost 100-degree heat, that's going to kind of negate it. So
82 doesn't sound that hot, but if you're in the sun, and anyone who's attended a Rutgers football game and sat outside when it's 82 degrees can tell you this, 82 degrees is hot, and obviously 96 degrees is a lot hotter.
It's like surface of the sun.
It's like 14 degrees hotter. 96 minus 82. That's a lot hotter, and it's definitely going to be a factor in this game. The last time I remember, maybe it wasn't the last time they went out there. When's the last time they went out to Nebraska? I actually had that up here. Where was that?
2017.
2017. So the last time they were out in this area in Kansas, remember, it was a hot day that day, and Kansas ran up and down the field, beat them 55-14. That was the Puka Williams game. Puka Williams, the running back for Kansas, didn't have any toes on one of his feet. And then one time I tweeted that, and then his agent responded and said it's not true that he doesn't have any toes. And then I was like, hey man, your beef is with the person who wrote the article. But anyway, it's hot, and it's going to be hot, and it was hot last time Rutgers went out to this area of the country, and it looks like it is going to be hot again. Okay, so now what we have to get to, and we still haven't gotten to Rutgers football simulated season, so we'll get to that. Mike, if you want to hang out for a bit of that, you're more than welcome.
Yeah, I'll chill. I got nothing going on.
I want to bring back one of my personal favorite things that we had from the Are You Screwed podcast. We are going to bring over.
Well, before you do that,
gambling segment. Do we have something else to get to? Sorry.
I have found one time when Rutgers traveled to Miami in September. It was Greg Schiano's first game, I believe, as the Rutgers head coach back in 2001, September 8th, 2001. So it was either the first or the second. That was the one that they lost by 60 to Miami. And I did find the weather for that day in Miami.
Okay.
And it looks like I'm seeing a lot of graphs. You know what? I might just have to share this page because I don't really know what I'm reading right now.
We need a meteorologist.
Yeah,
we need Mike.
We need Mike to help us. We need another Mike to help us. Let's see if I can pull up the tab. Here we go. Okay, I have found it.
Wow, this is crazy.
Yeah,
it looks like it was 88 degrees.
Yeah, I can't tell what's the actual weather. Like all of these numbers, it was a 4:00 game, I believe. So it would be like right around here.
So
Shout
out Macy's, according to that ad on the bottom right. Macy's, yeah, I'll take money from you.
I don't really know how to read this, to be honest with you. But
I think it was 88.
Warm.
I think it was 88 degrees. That's how I'm reading this. I'm reading this table and saying that means it was 88 degrees.
Yeah. I think that's accurate.
So Rutgers also played at FIU on September 11, 2010.
I remember that game.
Yep. They won 19-14.
Yep. Disaster.
Yeah. Was Cristobal the coach at the time?
Yep.
I think he was.
Yeah. That looked like it was
96. I feel like it's going to be hard to find something higher than 96. I feel like we're not.
I think you're right.
I think that, one thing I want to, 2005 November against USF. It probably wasn't as hot as I am remembering it, but I feel like it might have been like 1,000 degrees.
High of 91 that day in Miami.
That 91. Then, yeah, I don't know if you're going to find the 96 out there. I don't know if that's going to be. All right, let us get to the next part of this, which is we're going to talk gambling. Now, guys, I don't know if you've noticed that the calendar has turned over to October. The leaves are going to start to change. The football season is going really quickly by. Rutgers, it's a third of the way through the season, guys. We're already 4 games in. You get to 6, you're halfway through. Teams start to, really hit their stride. It is now time for week 6 in the league where they play for no pay. All right, now you might say play for no pay. It doesn't really apply anymore. NIL's fake. It's made up. It's not real. It's completely it's a made up loophole to pay the players. The fans pay the players. The players are still not being paid until the schools pay them. So I'm still going to go with play in the league where they play for no pay. But Rutgers and Nebraska this Saturday, 4 p.m. FS1 Memorial Stadium in Lincoln, Nebraska. Rutgers taking on the Cornhuskers. The Scarlet Knights, a 7-point underdog at Nebraska. Mike, you're the guest. What do you think of Rutgers and Nebraska? The Cornhuskers, a 7-point favorite.
I think the spread is just a little off. I think Nebraska's being overvalued in this one. I think it'll be a close game. I think it's a true kind of toss-up situation for Rutgers in terms of to win the actual game outright. So I like the money line. I like the spread. My favorite bet I've made this week is I took an alternate line of plus 7.5 for Rutgers and parlayed that with Rutgers over total points at 16.5, and that I got a few days ago at plus 112. I feel like that's a pretty easy win, but every time you think it's too easy of a win, you end up losing. So that's probably my favorite bet.
Rutgers plus 7 at Nebraska. Alec. Well, you need a score. You need to give me a score. What was the score? I need a score.
So earlier today, I did a preview pod with a Nebraska guy, and I said
you don't have to say the same
20.
score. That's not how this works.
Do
you want to say different scores? Like if you want to be like, oh cool, I got it right here and wrong down. You can give the same score.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, I don't know.
Good grift. Let's go 21-17. You know what? 21-13. Nebraska misses an extra point. Rutgers doesn't. Rutgers blocks a punt and recovers it for a touchdown. 21-13.
Okay, Alec.
I mean, I'm on a roll. I'm on a roll.
I didn't know. I meant to cut it up. All right, I love this part. I don't say mention. I love the part from you and Richie on Friday at 1:30 in the morning where you say, "I don't mean to toot my own horn," and then you bring up the tweet where you predicted the score properly, and then you also did it on Instagram, and I think you might have also done it on Discord. So you said to not toot my own horn, but then you went and tooted all over the place.
Tooted everywhere.
Toot all over the place. Go ahead, Alec.
I did. I just wanted to show off my expertise. Yeah. For those who don't know, and I'm sure everyone does, because like Max said, I put it anywhere and everywhere that would listen. I basically predicted everything that would happen in that game, all the way down to the Sam Brown touchdown. But yeah, I said I don't know who's going to win the Washington game going into that game. I'm not really sure who's going to win this one, but I don't think I came into the season saying that Rutgers wasn't going to win this game. I still think I don't know if they pull this out. I'm going to say 24-20 Nebraska wins. Rutgers has a drive late in the game that comes up just short.
Wow.
This might be the first time that I'll be wrong and Rutgers wins when I say they'll lose, because usually it's the other way around. But I don't think Rutgers wins this one. For once, I'm not the eternal optimist on Rutgers.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I feel like you have like a whole thing, like a brand to maintain, and you're picking against our beloved Scarlet Knights. So I'm going to change my pick. I am going to take Rutgers to win this one by a score of 8-6. And the way I have Rutgers winning, now Mike mentioned that Nebraska is terrible at special teams, right? Rutgers is going to block an extra point at 6-6, return it for 2, and win the game 8-6.
The old Eric Berry play.
Wow.
Remember that?
I had a game last year. I picked Rutgers to win 6-1, but it didn't work out.
No?
Yeah, because one would be they score a touchdown and then you get a 1 point. Like you get a 1 point safety on a 2-point conversion, and then you lose or you win 6-1. But it didn't work out. Hoping that 8-6 gets it done. Normally we pick other games on this segment, but I don't care about doing that. Rutgers. So what did I pick? So I picked 8-6 Rutgers. So I've got Rutgers on the money line and Rutgers +7 at Lincoln Memorial Stadium on Saturday, 4 o'clock, FS1, WRSU, the radio. Were you guys watching? I actually not sure what I'm doing for this game yet. What are you guys doing? Oh, I have a family thing. That's right. I'm watching it at a family thing. That's right. Okay, that's where I'm going to be. What are you guys up to?
So I got COVID
from
the wedding I was at this weekend, so I will be at home. Although it was one of those things where for away games, it's kind of like always a last-minute decision for me whether I want to go travel somewhere or not. So now I'm staying home this week.
Okay, we'll get better.
Yeah,
that's right. That's what Alex
probably,
said. He said his schedule's open because he got COVID. And I was like, oh no, Alec was like, oh, he's like, he framed it really good. He was like, oh, he's free whenever because he got COVID. It's great. He's off from work. I'm like, well, it's great for us. I don't know if it's so great for him, but he sounded. He's not like Danny. By the way, Danny Breslauer. Actually, wait, do I have that? I have that. Hold on, I have that. So Danny.
Does he get
Danny Breslauer canceled? Wait, hold on.
Does he get like terminal man flu every time he's got like any kind of illness?
Danny canceled his Spaces. He had a Spaces scheduled for Monday night, and he canceled it because he got sick. I think from a flu shot. He got sick, and he had to jump on antibiotics, as you can see on the tweet here that I've got up here on YouTube. Of course, Danny doesn't just go on antibiotics; he has to jump on them. Like, he can't just like calmly go on antibiotics. He's jumping directly into the antibiotics. But unlike Danny Breslauer, Mike Broadbent toughs it out and gets in the game and does what he's supposed to do, or I guess not supposed to do because this isn't like his podcast or anything. But he got out. Danny wouldn't even do his own thing. Like Mike came on somebody else's podcast when he had COVID, while Danny, did whatever.
I actually saw Danny. I said this in the Discord, but I saw Danny and I were on the
Rutgers
same
Sports
train
Outsider
back from
Discord,
New York City.
DM me at our pod if you'd like an invite link. Rutgers Sports Outsider Discord. Go ahead, Alec.
Yeah, we were on the same train, just like a car away. On the ride, I was doing some stuff in my dad's work in the city, and Danny was coming back to New Brunswick. I believe he was going to his parents' place to leave for I believe Rosh Hashanah is this weekend. So we were like a car away, and he had his back turned when we got on the train, and I was like, that guy kind of looks like Danny Breslauer. Huh, funny. And then we're going up towards the door when the train is about to get to New Brunswick, and I'm like, oh wow, that is Danny Breslauer. It was a very funny occurrence.
Well, you guys getting on the train and getting back to New Brunswick, that you got back here safe. It's always good to take a safe train ride. I don't know why I said that, but we need to. I'm trying to get a transition here to the next part here.
Oh yeah, I supposed to get
Rutgers football simulated season. What was my question?
I didn't answer your question of what I'm doing for the game on Saturday.
Oh yeah,
I think I'm going to be watching it at home. I'm not sure. I won't be going like to Nebraska, but I will probably be watching at home.
Oh, we got a dog too. What's the dog's name?
Yeah, this is Chet. He's my
Chet.
He has grown.
Oh, that's a great name for a dog.
in the last
Chet
year.
The dog. That's fantastic. Chet the dog. I love names like that for pets, like that are just like Greg. Greg is a good name for a dog. Or like not because of shit. I just like or Kevin or like Hal. Like I like real name, like regular dude names for dogs, or female names. It doesn't matter. You know, a nice little dog named like Jessica or Lauren the dog. Like I like regular people names for dogs. Chet's a good one.
Thanks, man. Yeah, same.
He's grown a lot.
I know. He was. I got him in July of last year.
There was some stuff I wanted to get to that I had ready to go and I just didn't. So let's just get to it real quick. So Aaron Rodgers
could be the year. This could be the year.
Saying that Rutgers is going to have college game day.
Or Cal getting college game day. There's six schools altogether. Now there's 5.
Now there's 5.
Yeah, Illinois, Maryland, Rutgers, Syracuse, and Virginia. Rutgers. You know, feels like
the year
is only a matter of time.
This could be the year. This could be the year.
This could be the year, according to Aaron Rodgers. I thought the McAfee part was getting Rutgers was cooler, but Aaron Rodgers running. Everyone's running with Aaron Rodgers, having Rutgers getting college game day. I feel like if McAfee does McAfee have that kind of power? He probably does. Like if he demanded it, I don't know.
I don't think people realize the dynamics between like Fox versus ESPN at this point too.
I've said this many times already.
We did this
earlier. Like, unless it is
earlier.
Truly I said these exact words. Unless it's a truly transcendent matchup, I highly doubt Game Day will go to a game that Fox has the broadcast rights to.
Yeah.
And something I came up with before, I don't know what this would be, but it's not college. It's not college game day. It's College Avenue game day. Like we have our own game day, but we call it College Avenue game day, and we make our own like really crappy version of game day. Okay, if ESPN won't give us game day, we'll bring game day to Piscataway with our own whatever.
Are we recreating the alley?
No. I don't know. We're not. I want nothing to do with that. They should bring back the alley. I don't want to manage.
Have you guys heard the alleged reason why the alley was disbanded?
Because Pat Hobbs chugged a beer and embarrassed the university.
No.
Apparently, people were drunk, right? It was a bunch of drunk teenagers.
Somebody took like a handle of vodka and just like threw it across the crowd, and it like hit somebody in the head, and they had like hospitalized.
I didn't know. I didn't hear about that. I feel like I should have heard about that.
All right, maybe safety reasons wasn't a total lie then.
Yeah, I just assumed it was because like you had drunk 18-year-olds, and Rutgers can't condone that. The other thing I had ready to go here was
it's 100%.
Hopefully something. If you saw, you were at the game, but it was Red Panda with Ace Bailey and Jamichael Davis, and I wanted to bring that out at some point. So here we go.
Basketball, Jamichael Davis and Ace Bailey.
Too much fun, Ace Bailey and Jamichael Davis. You can just tell they're having the time of their life. Okay, fun. And the look on Ace's face is like genuine delight.
Bro is astonished.
I feel like that sound is going to come through really clearly on the podcast. That's the problem of like the future listener. But that was fun. Red Panda at her first football game. How crazy to do that in front of like all those people on this like tall bicycle when you've never done it. I mean, obviously she's like practiced and stuff, but it's different on turf. But getting the first Red Panda football appearance, that's pretty cool.
She's got like a residency at Rutgers at this point. She was at the football game, then at the scrimmage. She's at a lot of games for.
He's my second favorite halftime act. I love Steve Max, the Simon Says guy. I love the Simon. Have you guys seen this? Alec, I know you've seen the Simon Says guy.
I have because he did halftime. He did the halftime show for a Rutgers women's basketball game that I covered that tipped off at 11:30 because it was.
I was one of the people that was there. I was. Yeah, that was actually about the first time we met at the Knights of the Raritan event last year. Was the first time we had met. But that was the second time we had met. But yeah, she's great. And I think that is it. We need to get to the Rutgers football simulated season. That's the next step here. So let's pop that up. This is a super long episode, but I guess we're still going.
We can cut this part. We can cut this into 2 episodes if we want.
Yeah, that's true. We can do that. Why don't we do that? Why don't we but we can hit the end. Can I hit the end stream button here?
Well, I just mean we can
stream or just make it.
We can keep it going. For when we put it on like Spotify and on podcast, we just cut it up.
That's a good idea. Yeah, Alec, this is why you're good at this. This is why
make
why we
a
got
make a
you around.
mark of where this is at too.
This is good.
That's something that I always struggled with early. It's like, when did we start talking about this? When did we start doing this? And then it's like, okay, now I got to listen to the whole thing.
All right, so this is what I want to do. We need to get this set up. So why don't we take
I'm
a
saying
break?
goodbye with my face.
What can we? I'm channeling my inner former teacher. What can we entertain the audience with? I mean, I can just put up like a blank screen, but I feel like that's boring, right?
And
what can we
also, yeah.
entertain? What can we put on for the video audience here? Greg Schiano previewing the Nebraska game. I don't know.
I mean, we haven't really talked about it, so sure.
Yeah, we talked. Oh, I see what you're saying. That was sarcasm. Got me there. Why don't we just mute and out and come back in like 2 minutes, because I don't really have anything just to throw up here. That was not something I was ready for. So let us just pop I'm going to pop the background. I'm going to take us off here. See you, Mike. We are coming back here on Sports Radio 1766. Alec, Max and Alec here. We now are about to do our Rutgers football simulated season. As we try to, there we go. Mike now joins us back here. Alec is still here.
I am.
Due to technical difficulties in getting in. Due to technical difficulties, Alec can't really be on camera with our current setup and have the video game plugged in at the same time. So Alec will not be here, his face. But actually, wait. Now with this thing, I can just put a logo. That's what I can do. Okay. Get rid of that. Okay, so here we have Rutgers football simulated season. They got blown out by Washington last week. Was it close? I don't really remember. What happened?
It wasn't particularly close. I think it was like a 2-possession game. Actually, let me go back and check. I don't think it was all that close, but I don't think it was a blowout either. Let's see. What was the final score? It was versus Washington. Oh no, they actually won. They actually beat Washington. I guess I was wrong.
I just have
I thought they lost
whatsoever.
I thought they lost for some reason. Oh well. All right, so yeah, they won. Okay. They won against Washington. Yeah, they won 20-7.
All right, so we got Rutgers. This doesn't look like as much of a mismatch with the. I think the last 2 weeks when we had this, Rutgers was like a big mismatch, like ranking ratings wise. But this week it doesn't look as bad.
Well, they also just did a roster update. Rutgers actually lost an overall point on offense. They're now down to a 75 for whatever reason. Even though Kyle Monungai went up, I think Holland Pierce went up in overall too. So we'll see. All right. So do we want to call the plays? Are we taking over again, or are we just gonna let the CPU?
I say let the computer call the plays. So I like that that dynamic. I think. How many minutes? Let's go. Right. We're going. How many minute course? 5 minutes? 6 minutes? What are we doing?
Let's go. I think we did 6 last week. Let's go 7 this week. That might take too long, but
7. You know. All right.
I might
have to duck out, but if I might have to duck out, but if you guys could take it, I mean, I don't mind. I don't care.
It would just be my logo up in the top, but
that's right. Well, and I guess apparently Mike would be here too. In this scenario,
of course, if Mike would like to be here the whole time. All right, let's go with 6. Do we want to turn on Excel clock so it doesn't take as long?
Yeah.
But that doesn't really. Well, if we're gonna do that,
it'll like automatically. It'll like automatically bring down the play clock to whatever we set it to. So 20 seconds.
But won't that make it real? Won't that make it go really fast though?
Not really. If we put it to like a high enough play clock number.
I mean, you know how this game works better than I do. Oh, we need an update on the amount of hours that you've played the game. We haven't gotten that.
Oh yeah, let me check up on that. All right, so we'll set it to 25 seconds.
Okay.
Nebraska, there's no 4 o'clock option, so we'll go 3:30. We'll go. Is there? Yes, windy. There we go. We'll go windy. It's a windy game. All right, so we got the broadcast team. All right, let's do this. Now I'm going to check how many hours I've played this game. I think I was going to last week, and then I kind of forgot to find it.
I don't remember if we met. Yeah, I don't remember if we actually ended up mentioning it.
All right, so again, the game came out on July, or at least the early version, the one that I have, came out on July 11th. In my Xbox app right now, let's see if I can find the game.
Here at
I never remember how
getting into it.
Yes. I never remember how to find this.
I think it was we was like averaging 8 hours a day, and then it was down to 4. And I think you've lessened it in that amount of time.
Yeah.
Or since then. So Rutgers and Nebraska.
This mascot always makes me laugh.
Yeah, he looks super creepy. I would have loved to go to this game. I mean, not that I'm like really in the business of flying all over and going to Rutgers sporting events, but it would be really cool to go. I've never been to a place like I was at a game in Alabama, but like I've never been to one of these Big Ten road games. Like I've never been to a Rutgers Big Ten road game. I gotta knock that off my my list. I've never even been to Penn State. I gotta knock that off my list at some point.
Also, I did update the depth chart, so it should actually work, and that Bo Toure is not in the game. And also, Kenny Fletcher, among others, should be in the starting. Yeah, I already see Kenny Fletcher. All right, so the depth charts are actually updated.
This is this looks like a spring game with the uniform matchup with the white and the red. Like, yeah. We have a handoff up the middle for 3 yards.
Now we got to figure out stuff to talk about while the game is going on.
Yeah, that's true. I had some stuff. I think I might have blown through it all already. I don't remember. What did we do? Oh, we had people on last time. We had like people cycling through, and we had Fonseca and Danny came on, and it was like a crappy version of the Manning cast. I don't know if we have. I put some feelers out there. I don't know if we have any.
Well, we still have Mike Broadbent.
Anyone is going to be coming on to save us this week. Well, yeah, yeah. I mean, right, Mike Broadbent, Mike in Pennsylvania, joining us. Here on Sports Radio 17. So if you're familiar with like the lore of WFAN, I think Joe Beningo started as a caller at WFAN and he graduated to like a host on the station. That's kind of what happened to Mike here. He was a caller. And then he's already, on the pod, right? Well, he's obviously not like on Sports Radio. I mean, he is. You know what, Mike? Welcome to Sports Radio 1766. You're hired. You're here. Okay, everyone who's here is hired. Kratch, you're hired. Fonseca now works for Sports Radio 1766. Danny and Mike already did. Welcome aboard.
Oh,
no. We got
a
pick here, by the way.
That's a really bad
7.
interception.
Yeah.
You did say that eventually the conglomeration of how does the corporate hierarchy work here? Is it Are You Screw is the subsidiary or no?
So Sports Radio 1766 is the umbrella, is the top level of the.
So that is the alphabet.
Yes. So like what and Mike Vorkanov pointed this out that I created something called I didn't know what this term was, something called a NewCo, which is where you take it's like a corporate spinoff where you create a new company that maybe sometimes like avoids like some of the problems or whatever that the old company had. That's not what I meant to do, but like I created a new company that now overtakes the old company. And that's what Sports Radio 1766 is. So some of the things I looked to it. So I talked about Danny Spaces. I thought about trying to acquire the simulcast rights to Danny Spaces, but there's a couple problems with that. Number one, the magic of Danny Spaces is that they are live, they are not recorded, and crazy stuff sometimes happens on Danny Spaces where people call in and say ridiculous things. And Danny would never want that recorded or because if you've listened to Danny's Spaces before, I don't know who's doing it, but there's someone who pranks him every single time. It seems like, and he doesn't record them. You have to listen to them live. But I did think about trying to acquire the rights to Danny's Spaces here on Sports Radio.
Mike and I are usually Mike and I are usually two of the main speakers on Danny Spaces too, so it could work.
Yeah. Mm. Yeah.
Also,
you already here. Alec, you're already here.
Yeah.
And Mike is hired today, apparently. So
I have found the playtime. So July 11th was 83 days ago, and that was when I got the game. Since the game has come out, I have played 17 days, 3 hours, and 24 minutes of college football 25.
17 days, how many hours?
How much is that?
3 hours.
Idle time.
17 days, 3 hours.
Definitely a good amount.
3 days since the game came out. I'm putting that on the scroll on the bottom. Hopefully it doesn't get in the way. We'll see how it turns out. Okay.
Also, yeah, Nebraska is driving down the field. Not great after Ethan Kaliakmanis threw a really bad interception.
It's too thick, it looks like. Wait, why isn't it scroll?
That's not the ticker either.
Yeah, right. Well, hold on.
All right, here we go. Raiola, he
is
in the red zone. And that's going to... All right, well, that's not good. That looks... There we go. Looks like a holding.
No, that's going to be on us.
Oh, no, never mind. Roughing the passer. Wow, that was rough.
Yeah.
On Malcolm Ray. Yikes, half the distance. I guess we will never see what actually happened on that roughing the passer. Oh, well. All right, Nebraska has a chance to strike first. And they do. Untouched into the end zone.
Oh, wow. He really got around the quarter there. It looked like he wasn't going to get there.
Yeah.
So, okay. So it popped up, yeah. 17 days, 3 hours in the last 83 days. So let's figure that out in hours.
That can't be right.
Total hours. So that's 17 times 24. 400.
Stretch that out.
That's 411 hours.
Yeah, if you stretch that out over the course of how much he's playing per day, that's about 5 hours a day in that time period. I just can't.
Well,
Yeah, that's not bad.
I think you
that's
overestimate how much I
pretty
do
good.
on a daily basis, Mike.
I just mean like you went to Europe this summer, didn't you?
Oh, that was before the game came out.
That was before the game came out. Okay.
Yeah, I got back about a week and a half before the game came out.
Got it. Well-timed vacation then.
Yeah, thank goodness. There were times that I accidentally left the game running for like an absurdly long time, so that's definitely taking up a lot of the time. And also like the week after the game came out, like we were talking about, I played that game like all day. Like I would wake up and just do nothing except for play college football 25. So I think it might be accurate.
Plan.
Oh, Alec, you do plenty. And if you want to know if you want to know some of the stuff Alec is up to, Rutgers.rivals.com.
All right, here we go. Alex. After the turnover, nice catch, Kenny Fletcher.
How many podcasts are you involved with now, Alec?
3, I think.
3. Okay, so you've trimmed it down. It's like the number of fantasy leagues you've joined. There's too many for that following season.
I'm in 5 of those.
Does Mike Bash know that he now works for Sports Radio 1766? Has he been made aware?
No,
of
he does not. He has not been made aware yet. Although I'm sure he will at some point.
I'm sure he'll handle that well.
This is true. Also, I think the Excel clock might have made it go a little bit too fast, but it's fine. We're working with it. Honestly, this game's probably not going to be that high scoring.
I thought
because
I remember that like
too inaccurate.
That's fine, and we've already been on the air here for a very long time.
Yeah, yeah. I guess what else am I up to now?
I gotta duck out for a second.
Oh, okay. All right. It's just Mike and I. So I am the still face in the top right, obviously. Yeah. So I what am I up to? I'm up to a lot of stuff. So yeah. Jalen Phillips of the Miami Dolphins is out for the season, so that's not good. And Rutgers just got stopped on 3rd down.
Although I thought he had a wide open guy across the middle. I don't know why he threw it to I'm asking why a computer threw something, but
yeah, he did. The mind of fake Ethan Kalikmanis confuses me at times.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Michael Hartshorn is still the punter for the fake Rutgers Scarlet Knights. Actually, a pretty good one, down at the 12-yard line. I don't know, Mike, and I guess it's your time now. What would you like to talk about?
I've recorded 2 podcasts today already before I hopped on here, and
so probably not much.
So I have exhausted the majority of my thoughts for the afternoon. But I mean, we could talk, about implications of Saturday. If Rutgers beats Nebraska in Lincoln, I think there's a very good chance they go to 7-0 on the season for when they play at USC on that Friday night on game 1 of the World Series, which would be such a unique experience, not only if you were to attend the game, but also to watch it remotely, because an 11 p.m. kickoff time for Rutgers fans, I don't think we've ever had a game kick off that late. And I say that not being 100% certain on that. I think we played
Fresno State. I think that was at 10:30.
Okay.
I think.
Yes, that's point being, we're going to be up till almost 3 a.m. watching a Rutgers game.
Are we doing a live show for that? I doubt it, right?
You say you doubt it, but you probably will.
Oh, that's a great point. Are you, because you guys were up at 1:30 doing it. At least it's not a home game at 11 o'clock. I mean, you could be on by like 2:30.
Yep, exactly. Those home game, post game shows are always tough because you guys got to stay for the presser. You got to get out of jammed parking. You're both.
Well, Rich and I didn't even stay for the presser on Friday. That's why we got stuck in all the traffic.
Okay.
Usually if we stay for the presser, it most of the traffic has died down at that point.
You could do it
not on Friday.
Could you do it from the car? I guess you don't want to drive home after. You want to get home and then roll into bed when it's over.
Yeah.
Well, we have our own setup there too. So it's on Friday, Richie and I floated the idea of maybe doing it in the press box, but
that's what working. Yeah,
I'm sure there's like other people working. Like
you could go sit at
working
you
the
could go
post game stories.
go sit at the where the WRSU guys are. Sit out there.
We could do
Yeah.
that actually. It's not a bad idea. Other than the Wi-Fi probably isn't very good, but you know.
Oh, and you guys are actually going live, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I was actually talking about this on Discord, like, and I don't know what I'm doing for the USC game yet. Like, as a fan base, you really need a plan. You're going to fall asleep. Like most people, I stay up late. I go to bed at like midnight, and I'm going to struggle to get to 2. Like, and people who go to bed at 9:30, 10:30, like those people, you're going to fall asleep. You need a plan. Like, and you're not going to watch the Rutgers game at USC on a Friday night. So like, you got to chug coffee. Like, people need to you need to go out. If you stay home, you will fall asleep. You probably will if you're over the age of like 30, right? It's all of you out there who are washed up. So like, you need to have a plan going into this game if you want to not fall asleep.
And combine that with a 1 in 4 chance of a local team being in the World Series in the preceding game. So can you imagine a Yankees game 1 at Yankee Stadium, and then right as that game ends, it's
Yankees Mets,
Rutgers, imagine
or Yankees Dodgers,
and then it goes right into the
or the Yankees aren't
people,
involved at all, and it's like and it's just not the Yankees. That would be cool.
That would be the ideal for sure.
Yeah.
Well, maybe for some of us.
Oh, right. Alex, a Yankees fan. That's right. That's one of the things. One of the things we haven't done we haven't done our non-Rutgers sports stuff, and we are going to get to that at some point. Not today, but like, because we have to talk about the Wolves. Your Wolves had a big trade, man. Everything's been shaken up. Your Wolves, your third team. Where are they on the Alex tiers of teams?
Honestly, probably second at this point. I've given up on the Clippers, considering they'd signed like 2 people that left their previous teams because they did some like criminal stuff.
Oh yeah, well they have
like signing Josh Primo and Kevin Porter Jr. in the same offseason.
Oh, okay. If that's the reason, then I understand. Because I was going to say, I think they're going to be pretty good this year. Actually, they're going to be way better than people think they're going to be. Love Ty Lue for coach of the year. That's another thing. I want to talk gambling at some point. Really like Ty Lue for coach of the year.
Yeah, I've given up all hope on that team. I'm holding on to the Nets because
that's what I was about to say. You're holding on to the Nets.
They could get Dylan Harper or Ace Bailey. Wow, Kyle Monunga just sprung free right up the middle. All right.
Hey,
we haven't talked about this game in a while.
Yeah, it's 7-0 Nebraska, mid-second quarter. Rutgers is driving. I hadn't thought about that. Because I love the NBA. That's my favorite league, favorite sport, like by a wide margin. Rutgers fans, and like the thing about college sports fans, a lot of them really just don't watch the NBA at all. And with Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey in the NBA, I'm very excited for my Rutgers people to come and watch the NBA because they're going to. They're going to be following. Yep. They're not going to not follow Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey in the NBA. So I'm very excited to get to, I don't know, have more people that I know on the internet who are interested in NBA. I'm very excited for that.
I dropped an article in the chat. It's like early number 1 draft pick odds, according to some insider. Rutgers has according to this article, a 35% chance of having the number 1 pick between Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper.
Wow.
I think that, by the way, because I know Dylan Harper, I haven't looked at a lot of the mock drafts, but he's like kind of projected maybe kind of towards the back of the top 10 and not super high. Top 5. Because like he's gonna have I've said this on here before, but I think he's gonna have one of the great freshman seasons that any player has had in a long time, of any freshman guard in the country that we've seen. There's no reason not to think. As Rutgers, by the way, on the board, scoring a touchdown here. Who scored, Alec? I didn't see. It was Sam Brown.
Sam Brown, yeah.
Okay. 7-7 here in the second quarter. But like he could be the number 1 pick. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't think he has that. I don't think he's got that ceiling, that like size, length, athleticism ceiling. But
I think Jalen Brunson I think the rise of Jalen Brunson has really kind of changed maybe how teams look at this stuff. Not that Jalen Brunson's special, but like maybe you look at some of these things differently by seeing the impact that Jalen Brunson has been, like, as one who is now at that size with that level of athleticism.
To be fair,
one of the 5 or 6 best players in the league, right?
I mean, Jalen Brunson's what, like 6'3", 6'4"? Dylan Harper's 6'6", so it's not like he doesn't have the athletic ceiling that maybe Ace has. But yeah,
but but look at Luka. Luka's not like this high flying crazy athlete. And
exactly.
I'm not comparing him to Luka, but like I got some Luka vibes from Dylan a little bit.
I could see it, like the size, obviously the point guard abilities, and getting to the rim. He can get to the rim like few other can at his size, especially. I mean, as long as he doesn't follow every single part of Luka's development where he becomes a disaster on defense and also gets a lot bigger because he has to go to the rim so much, I kind of see it. I'm here for it.
7-7 here after the 2-minute timeout in the second quarter. Were either of you at the scrimmage on Saturday?
I could not make it.
Okay.
No, I was at that wedding, but I will be there for the St. John's game.
I have Danny's 5 thoughts. I can look at Danny's 5 thoughts on the game to get a sense of what happened in it.
Are you guys going to be?
Someone's phone's a buzzing.
Oh yeah, that's mine.
Are you guys going to?
You were asking that I will be there for.
Going to what game?
The St. John's scrimmage.
Yep, I got on right as the kickets came on. I'm in 104 row A. I'm right there, center court, not the court side, but like the first row of seats right behind the chair, like the chairs on the court there. I'm very excited for that.
I didn't want to sit that close. I got on at like 12:01. So I'm also in 104, but in like row G. So I'll probably see.
Okay, all right, cool. We got other people, and that I know are in.
There's a lot of people in 104 that we know.
Going to this game, man. Yeah, we're taking over.
It will be on Big Ten Network according to that screenshot.
And I know there might be people in front of me. Whatever, it might be hard to see. You know what? Prime time, row A. That's where I want to be.
I heard Raiola pushing. Oh my goodness, that receiver was wide open.
Nice spin.
Let's see if that the date and time announcement is back up yet. Let's see if it's actually been released. No, it has not.
It is not supposed to be. It was supposed to be released next. I think I know what happened. It's supposed to be released next Wednesday at 3 p.m. And they think they released it today at 3 p.m. on accident for a very brief moment, and it was taken down.
Oopsies.
So I don't think
should we not discuss it or?
It's out. It was out there. I don't know. What are you going to do? I mean, it's really, how big of a deal is it? We know the game's going to be on TV.
We discussed it on TV. We discussed it briefly, and we will cease discussion of it. Nebraska just used its last time out after Dylan Raiola took an awful sack and dumped off, and now it's 3rd and goal at 12.
Oh wait, my Discord. Did that go over that Discord message noise, or did I just hear that?
No. Okay, good. Thankfully, because I hear that
noise
all the time, and it
production. Or I usually mute it, but I don't have it. Ooh, sacked. Who is that?
Tyrene Powell.
Oh, Tyrene Powell. Oh, the guitar. Love that. At least it wasn't Michael Scantlebury, the fake player.
Yeah, it's true. I benched him in the depth chart.
Oh, good. Okay.
Also, to take a page from Ray Lewis, who's not on the radio broadcast anymore, there's 3 things you can't do in the red zone that Dylan Raiola just did twice.
Ray Lucas.
Yeah.
You said Ray Lewis. Those are different people.
I don't know why. Yeah, Ray Lucas, Ray Lucas, the former Rutgers quarterback. The 3 things he said you cannot do in the red zone is take a sack, throw an interception, and take a sack. That was his line.
You know what else? It molded into over the years. It molded into take a sack, or it was what you said, but eventually I'm pretty sure it just became he said take a sack 3 times.
That wouldn't surprise me either.
I think it eventually
Raiola did it twice on that drive.
Ray was great. I mean, you can't replace Ray. I mean, Mike Teal does a great job, and Eric is still doing a great job, but Ray is a different animal.
All right, so Nebraska's up 10-7 at halftime. Honestly, I thought this game was going to be headed for a blowout after that first interception.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, Gabe Irvin Jr.
I was supposed to get Danny's 5 thoughts so we can get some kind of analysis on the game, on the basketball game. Tigers Astros, top of the 6th inning, scoreless still. Second day in a row, the Astros cannot get the bats going. Yeah, with 3-1 yesterday, I think we're 3-2. 3-1 was the final yesterday.
Yeah, very low scoring.
Yeah, 3-1
series overall in general.
Tigers can do a lot of damage in the playoffs, right? Tyler Skubal, you got one guy like that.
They went with an opener today.
Oh, they went with the bullpen game. I haven't looked at the box yet.
Yeah, they had Tyler Holton start. He went an inning, and then they've just gone relievers ever since.
I do love that gimmick that Kratch brought up, the doubleheader for games 2 and 3.
So good.
That would be amazing.
James Kratch was on earlier, and his suggestion was that after game 2 today, like if it's 1-1, they play a doubleheader right after that game, and you stagger the start times of all the games. You have like an NCAA tournament of baseball. It'd be pretty cool. I'm in.
Although we saw when it comes to baseball scheduling, we've seen how it can go horrifically wrong, especially in the Big Ten tournament. I would love to see
What
if,
happened?
if weather got involved.
What happened at
Like
the Big
on the
Ten
double.
tournament?
So, it was basically why Rutgers got left out of the NCAA tournament like 2 years ago, where
Yep.
they had to change the schedule because of it for the Big Ten tournament, where they had to play a game at starting at 1 a.m. because of rain. It was like there was rain in Omaha for like 2 straight days, so they had to push it back further and further and further back. So Rutgers played a game that ended at 4:30 in the morning, I think, and then they had to play the next afternoon for the Big Ten championship, and they lost. And it's a double elimination tournament, but Rutgers had only lost once in the Big Ten championship, while the team that beat them, Michigan, had also already lost once, but they were named the champions, even though they both had one loss. It was very controversial and annoying, and
They don't
they had to
normally have
change
to
the
play
schedule.
twice.
Oh wow! So Nebraska's punter is awful in this game.
Wow, that's
he
really
just
bad.
had
44
punts.
yard line. Rutgers got it down 10-7 midway through the third quarter.
Yeah, it's supposed to be double elimination. So Michigan had lost to Iowa, but they won the rest of their games. And I think it was their second game in the tournament. They lost to Iowa. Then they ended up running the table to get to the Big Ten championship. Rutgers had gone undefeated in the Big Ten tournament going into the championship against Michigan. And then Michigan beats them, and Michigan is named the champion despite both teams having one loss when it's supposed to be a double elimination tournament.
I'm drinking iced tea, by the way, people. I drink a lot of iced tea. I'm like sipping at something, and I feel like it looks like. I mean, I'm just letting. it's iced tea. I'm drinking iced tea.
That's good to know. Big Ten baseball is pure chaos.
It's just it's in like a shady like black tumbler. Like I feel like people might judge me or say I don't know. People are weird, so I'm drinking iced tea.
I will say I haven't seen any night and day loud cups yet at the stadium. Thank goodness, because the one time you play, oh yeah, Mike's getting his. Oh boy, the one time you played yours on the Night Report podcast.
What is it?
Night and Day has something called the loud cup, where it's like serves as a cup, but it also has a noisemaker inside of it.
Oh God,
this is
what
what
I
it
want my
is.
child to have this.
So it is a fully functioning cup. So this top lid opens up, and you can drink out of it. I wish it was like a koozie kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So you drink out of this side, but then there's this other hole, which I'll take the insert out and show you what it does. So it goes down into the bottom of the cup, and the bottom of the cup has a noisemaker in it. Do you want to hear what it sounds like?
Sure. Let's just do this. I'm going to take my headphone out and just kind of take your headphones out. If you have headphones in, take them out. I'm going to take mine out and like put it near my ear. I don't know I don't know if it's going to be bad. I just don't know if it's going to be good. So if you have headphones in, take them out a little bit.
All right. 1, 2, 3.
That's cool. That's cool. Night and Day's got a lot of cool stuff.
They do. They have a lot of great stuff, and it's nice to have like a sponsor that actually like enjoy their gear and stuff like that. But going back into like shady drinking vessels, when I was recording earlier, I felt like a really bad series of coughs coming on, so I tried to like sneakily drink some Dayquil off to the side.
Chugging Dayquil.
If you could like only see the one side, it definitely looks like I'm like
that looks like brown. That's brown liquor right there. That's cool. That's funny. What did you record? What do you got coming out?
So we have 2 podcasts coming out today. We already released the one. The one was for a preview of the Nebraska game with one of the writers from Inside Nebraska on the Rivals Network. I want to apologize again. Last week's guest Washington game, touchdown Chris Long, very nice. It was just like the biggest homer I think I've ever encountered of any of these guests, because we try and have some kind of special, right? Either a beat reporter or like a podcaster for every football game at least. And this guy, there was this. I compiled a list of all the comparisons he made for his players. He compared the one receiver to Tyreek Hill. He compared the one linebacker / edge hybrid to TJ Watt and JJ Watt. He compared the number 2 corner to Sauce Gardner or Darrell Revis. Like every single guy that
was the number 1 corner.
I don't think he gave a comparison to him, which was the strangest part.
I mean,
about
if you've got Revis as your second corner, you're in pretty good shape.
Yeah. I think don't forget the running back with Arian Foster.
Yes, he compared the running back to Arian Foster.
Although,
underrated.
To be fair, he did live up to that billing, to be fair.
Well, I don't think Arian Foster was even that big. Like, Arian Foster was more of like a slashy type guy.
Yeah.
He was big. I think he might have been like 6'1", maybe? He wasn't
Jonah
short.
Coleman's listed at 230.
Yeah, he wasn't
And he
that
looked
big. He wasn't
too
quite
big.
that big. Arian Foster's only 38 years old. That's how foot 6'1", 227. I think he
Okay.
played lighter than that. I don't think he didn't look 227. I would have thought like 220, 215.
But yeah, that guy was just and then he like at the end we do predictions and he goes, well, I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna say 21-10. No, 21-17. I'm gonna go 21-17.
Okay.
Washington takes it. But like
Nebraska. If he definitely didn't take. If he took Washington, I'd be really confused.
Well, this was last week. Sorry.
Last week. Oh, the Washington guy was a homer. I thought you meant the Nebraska.
Yeah.
The Nebraska guy being a homer made sense. I was like, I just assumed that every Nebraska podcast is like insanely homerific. That's what I assumed. I thought you were talking about Nebraska.
No. The Nebraska guy was great. The Washington guy he was from New Jersey and he went to Washington for school and now he does the podcast. But he's just like the biggest homer I think I've ever encountered.
He was wrong.
Host.
He didn't have a great night.
He was wrong. He did not. But the Nebraska guy, they're really concerned about special teams and stopping the run. They seemed pretty in tune with how their team's doing. The guy really leaned on the atmosphere for Nebraska securing a win. I mean, Athen's beaten Nebraska twice in the last 2 years, including at Memorial Stadium last year. How
about this? Wait a minute. How many times in like the history? I wonder how often has a quarterback won in the same stadium on the road 2 years in a row? It can't be common, right? I mean, it would only happen if you transferred to another school in the conference that happened to be playing on the road there. So like this could be the first time that anyone's ever done this in the history of the Big Ten. I mean, who knows? We'd have to think back again at guys who maybe have transferred between schools. But you have to not only transfer, you have to transfer to a school that plays at that school and then wins there. So he could be the first quarterback maybe ever to do that. That would be cool.
I'm going to fact check myself here because I want to make sure that he did play at Nebraska last year. Okay,
also,
no,
we are.
Sorry.
We are on the fourth quarter.
Alec is still here.
I am.
For those on YouTube.
Rutgers is winning 14-10, but Nebraska's driving. So
also,
Parker Meadows just hit a solo home run. The Tigers have taken a 1-0 lead in game 2.
When you said Parker Meadows, I thought you were talking about Parker Fleming. Like I'm like, what did he do? Like the stats guy, the Twitter stats guy, because we were talking about him. Not often you talk about two Parkers.
It's funny because Parker Fleming is also the name of Ohio State's special teams coordinator, who everyone in their fan base hates. Like the Ohio State fan base hates him.
Ohio State, do they like any of their coaches? They don't like. Do they like Ryan Day? Is that an outside creation?
Well,
they're lukewarm on him at best because he hasn't beat Michigan. They're lukewarm on him at best because he hasn't beat Michigan.
Well, I think they'll beat them this year. Wow, dropping the flat. That's why Shaquan Loyal plays defense. That's why he's not a receiver. Dropping that pick.
He just dropped a clear interception. But Rutgers can try to salt this game away.
14-10. Wasn't this this might have been the final score of the game at home? That's like one of the worst punts I've ever seen. Is that being fielded at the 30? How long was that punt?
Okay, so there's a few
23 yards. That was crazy.
Oh well, never mind. It's going to go to 33 because there's a block in the back against Moses Walker.
1st and 10 for Rutgers, their own 22-yard line.
Look at Common on guy rumble, 7 yards.
Athen is jacked up about that 7-yard run.
I mean, I would be too if I saw Common on guy break a tackle and run straight forward for 7 yards.
Alec, what was the coolest road Big Ten stadium you got to go to? What did you think was like the coolest atmosphere you got to go to?
Well, for football, I only went to one road game, and that was well, actually, no, I've been to Penn State, but the problem with the Penn State game that I went to was it was 2021. The one that I went to, it was that game that was right before it was cold and windy as all hell. Second, it was right before, it was like the week before Thanksgiving, and Penn State has classes off the entire week before Thanksgiving, like that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Mm-hmm. So it was not like the peak Beaver Stadium environment. But Iowa was very cool. That environment was really cool. The wave was obviously really cool. The food was very good. I've said this many times. Yeah, there we go. All right, Monangai, wow. So Rutgers might actually win this game. I did not think they were going to coming in. Yeah, unfortunately I only got to go to one opposing football stadium. Just opposing like field of play period is definitely Mackey Arena.
Didn't you go to Indiana last year?
Oh, that's true. I forgot about that. Yeah,
That doesn't
I
count.
forgot
I
about
mean,
Indiana.
Indiana's not a real. I mean, I said Big
It
Ten
was-
state. That's not a real Big Ten state.
It was the Tom Allen
So maybe
Indiana
maybe I
Hoosiers.
shouldn't
So
be talking down at Indiana because
they
Indiana's
are a wagon right now. You
Yeah.
you can talk down on the Tom Allen.
I never
Hoosiers,
showed
but
my
the Curtis
tears. I never got
McNally
to my
Hoosiers-
Max's. I never got to Max's tier talk. I gotta put that in before the end of the episode. I had a new segment. It'll be real quick. I'll get it right after this game here. There. Okay, I've got it ready to go.
It is an interesting like sliding door scenario. Like, what if Michael Penix never tears his ACL? Like, does Tom Allen still have a job? Like, how far do they go? You know, does he ever end up transferring? Do they fire
Did you
the
see
OC?
that Tom Allen story? Where he couldn't.
no.
Rutgers got it back. 2nd and 21 though, where Tom Allen.
Why are you doing a pop pass?
Tom Allen couldn't call the
defensive
plays.
and I'm very sorry, Max.
It's cool. We'll get to that. Tom Allen couldn't call the plays for Penn State anymore because his voice was too gravelly. So they had to give it to some assistant because they have like the mic, like they can talk to the defensive players now and call the plays. So Tom Allen, they had to not use Tom Allen anymore. Apparently that's something that went wrong in the Bowling Green game, that his voice was like gravelly or whatever. So they couldn't, and they gave up like 30 points to Bowling Green or something crazy. So then
that was
in the last
tie
couple
game.
games, he didn't call the plays anymore because his voice was shot. That's an interesting little problem.
That's got to be like the most hilarious consequence of the helmet to headset connection that I've heard so far. Also, Rutgers is nowhere near close to field goal range. This is very concerning. That was a really bad play call.
What were you complaining about? The fake Kirk Chabada?
Yes, I was complaining about the play call where they go fake pop pass to Ian Strong, then play action, and then he gets strip sacked. So, all right, now we got a read option to Ethan Kalikmanis that does nothing. All right, so Dylan Raiola is going to have a chance to win this game.
Kirk Chabada. I wonder what we had a poll here. What was our poll earlier? We had a poll that we put up. I meant to put up more polls, and then
it was Richard Kent's. It was Richard Kent's proposition.
Right. Would you take 6-1 for Rutgers football going into the USC game? I'll retweet it from my account. It'll get more people will vote on it that way.
All right, here we go. 2-minute drill for Raiola. I'm assuming for the first time. Let's see if he can hold up. All right, first down already. We're off to a great start. Let's see. What is fake Joe Harris-Imiak? Fake Joe Harris-Imiak's got to dial up some more blitzes. Like when the one time that I called the plays, we drew up like blitzes on every single play. All right, that was just a simple comeback.
I feel like that was more me. I feel like I was very. I don't think we lost.
Yes.
Didn't we lose? We lost.
Yes,
yeah, we lost.
Yes, we did lose that game.
That
was the Virginia Tech game.
Always blitz didn't work. Yeah.
Are they in main cut? Why are they in cover? Are they in cover 1 right now? All right. Well, it didn't totally.
2nd and 4. 1:38 to go. Nebraska is down 4 with the ball at their own something. I didn't see
42.
42.
All right. Here we go. They're definitely playing way up on the line of scrimmage. He sent a blitz, and Raiola picked it up and found a man in the flat.
Just getting everything on the boundaries here.
Yeah. Fake Joe Harris-Imiak's got to put some guys on the sidelines. Just funnel everything towards the middle. All right, let's see if fake Dylan Raiola can make a mistake here. Honestly, like I wouldn't be surprised if it comes down if like this happens where it's like this low scoring of a game, and then it comes down to one last drive. Wow, that was a mistake by Raiola. He overthrew a man. Let's see. What are the poll results looking like now? All right, so 73% of people are saying yes, 27 are saying no, 15 votes. So that's what 11 people saying yes, 4 people saying no, I believe, if my math is correct.
Well, you're not supposed to say the number, the low number of people who have voted, Alec. You got to just say the percentages, and it makes it sound sad if you're trying to. Of the 4, no, you just say the percentages. The votes are in.
We want you to vote. Look how few people.
Stop the count.
Yeah, stop the count. Yes, we are taking a 6-1 start.
I don't even have. I have my Danny's Keys shirt on. I don't even have like my whole camera. I got my Danny's Keys shirt on. Which is you can go to. Where did I get that? I forget where I got that from. Wherever I got it from, you can get it.
Insider.
Yeah, that's right. RU Hoops Insider.
Yep.
So the Danny's Keys to the game. as Rutgers
here we go.
was
Now
first
we're
and 10
really
for
in a
Nebraska
hurry
here
up.
at the 33. Yeah. All three timeouts for Nebraska, or no timeouts.
No timeouts.
They do have. Oh
No
yeah, no,
timeouts.
they have no timeouts. They burned it on the last drive. Although now they're in the red zone.
That's
Rutgers has all
confusing that
3
they
timeouts.
just dim them out like that. They should just not have them there. But I get it now.
Oh boy.
So
the clock is. There's no one on the field right now. Once again, I love when they do that.
Oh yeah, the weird graphical problem that they have, and then the hurry up offense doesn't happen right away. It's funny that they haven't improved the computer simulated broadcast angle of this game in 20 years. It's exactly the same weird like mechanics as far as they show the crowd and you don't see anyone on the field and everyone rushes up to the line. It's not really hurry up. It's crazy that EA has not figured this out in 20 years, how to make a hurry up offense like work in a video game.
I feel like spiking the ball 50 seconds left is a little bit early.
It looks the same. It's the motions of the players. It all looks exactly the same. Oh,
Ooh.
what? That was out of the back. I didn't think he got it.
That looked out of bounds.
Can I challenge it? Since I'm not good, I cannot challenge it as I am not.
Maybe it'll get reviewed, or maybe you got 1 foot in.
Should I cheat and take control of Rutgers real quick and challenge it from their end?
I thought you were going to take control of Rutgers and win the game.
I will do that. I can do that as well.
Do it. Yeah, take control of Rutgers and try to win the game.
All right.
Is it on? Wait, hold on. What difficult do you play? Like play on a difficulty that's like you might lose. Like right, like
I'll go All American.
All American. Like it's like I don't know how good you are at this game. Like it's possible that you lose this.
He's played 17 days worth of the game.
I would hope I'm good at this point.
Because look, there was a point where like when I played,
I'm going to challenge the play too.
NCAA.
Yes,
I like All American. I would have won by like a touchdown. Like it wouldn't because I don't know your skill level. So I want this to be legit. I want this to be like you could lose. So we'll see. I don't know what I'm rooting for here. I feel like it might be.
What would be
for
funnier, me driving down the field and scoring a touchdown, or immediately throwing an interception on the first play?
I think you losing is obviously the funnier outcome. I mean, I want Rutgers to win, but I'm kind of rooting for you to lose. I don't really know here.
We lost the challenge. All right, here we go.
We lost the timeout now. Bad coaching.
Yeah.
People will get to see how insanely difficult kicking is in this game. If you have to kick like a 38-yarder from right,
I will say
and shank it all the way out in the stands.
He's not going to be tooting his own horn about this one.
I have gotten pretty good at kicking, I will say.
All right. Well.
All right. I put Ben Black in on the return team.
And he's down to the 21-yard line. 21-yard line, 1st and 10, 43 seconds left. Rutgers needs a field goal.
Yes.
To win
and
this.
Am I allowed to play overtime too if it does go that far?
Yeah, you have the controls until the game clock is at zeros.
Yeah, let's see. Out in the flat, 37. All right, electing not to use the timeout. Interesting. Very interesting. They really get up to the line really quickly in this game, maybe a little quicker than in reality. Alec Mattis scrambling out to his right, throwing down the field. He's got a receiver, and it's caught at the 30, to the 20, to the 10, to the 5 touchdown. And that was what I was afraid of, that it would be too easy for Alec to come down the field.
And people doubt. Did anyone actually doubt me?
Miller. I didn't doubt you. I wasn't sure. It was Demir Miller, right? With the many-yard touchdown. What was that, like 72-yard touchdown right there?
I think it was like 63 because we were at the 37.
21. 37. Was it that far? No, it was 27, wasn't it? Because you started at the 21, and you didn't get a first down, so it was like.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. But yeah, Alec going down. All right. Now, wait a minute. Wait. I feel like you should let the computer do this now, because I feel like you're definitely going to win. No, like
I'm not very good at CPU defense. That's the thing.
Okay.
I only play on offense.
Let's do it. Okay, then let's do it. Oh, you don't actually play. Oh, this is perfect then. Good. Cool. Play action.
Never mind.
Pocket. Throws left, and it's intercepted right away at the 33-yard line. Stealing things up. Bo Masco doing a little dance, making a little love.
Getting
down.
Just
tonight,
because I can, I want to prove something.
Win.
I want to prove something just because I can.
touchdown?
No, I'm not going to.
Oh, what are we doing here? Okay.
I want to prove that I can kick a field goal.
Oh, we're kicking a field goal. Here we go. Could you imagine? I feel like in this situation, Matt Rule would fight Greg Schiano if they kicked the field goal.
Yeah.
Like as time expired. I feel like there'd be a fight
go
on the
up by 7.
Go up by 7.
There we go.
And there it is.
I
Alec
turns
right
out
down the middle.
I am, in fact,
Well
good
done,
at the
Alec.
game.
Yeah, round of applause for Alec.
All right, hit the
Kicking field
soundboard
goal,
or
making
something.
it done. He
Goodness
won the
gracious.
game.
Goodness gracious.
Definitely. Wait, we have it
Yeah,
here.
I
somewhere.
am
We
in-
have that. We have that.
I am
Wait, here we
I
go.
am good at the game.
Goodness gracious! Goodness gracious! Goodness
That was an
gracious!
unbelievable ending. I feel like if we're going to the soundboard,
with an asterisk,
if we're going to the
with an
soundboard,
asterisk.
I mean, I have to, actually, no, this is definitely what would happen if this were to happen, if this were to play out on the field.
Biggest piece of turd to ever hit Miami.
Except swap Miami
biggest
with
turd
Lincoln.
ever.
The biggest piece of turd to ever hit Miami.
Biggest piece of turd. So Rutgers wins 21-17 in Rutgers football simulated season with a big time asterisk. And Rutgers with 17 second half points to get the win. Big time win for the fakes, the virtual Scarlet Knights, the fake Scarlet Knights. Good stats, 207 passing yards, very impressive. 9 of 11. Alec McManus, very efficient with those 2 touchdowns. Again, a little bit of an asterisk because Alec took over. The stats a little bit skewed, but Rutgers pulling out the win, 21-17. The only thing that I definitely want to get to before we go, I need to get to my Max's tier talk. It's my new segment. It's called Tier Talk. And let me pop that up. I got Big Ten team tiers ready to go here. So let me this up brand new segment, Max's Tier Talk.
I'll bring myself back in since we are.
This is really. You ever have like so many windows open in your internet browser that you don't know which tab you're? Okay, I found it. Which tab you're like currently in?
And then you have like 7 windows.
All right, so
open
I've got my Big Ten. Yeah, and you just have to keep clicking through it, and then you have like so many tabs and you can't find it. Okay, anyway, so we have Rutgers. We got Big Ten tiers of teams here. Max's tier drop. All right, so these are my tiers. Let me get in position here. There we go. So
I don't know if you guys have seen Isaiah Walker. He's on Twitter. He's like a Purdue guy that does a tier list every week with the Big Ten. It's actually very entertaining. I don't know if you guys have seen it. Definitely recommend checking it out. It's very funny.
I can take Alec's logo off of here because
because I am here.
I feel like I have seen those before. Who is this again? What's the name?
Isaiah Walker.
I always like the tiers. Okay, so we have our tiers here. Our Big Ten tiers. We've got in tier 1, we've got Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State, and Indiana in tier 1. Okay. I've got Indiana up there in tier 1. I'm giving the Hoosiers their due.
You are fully
Signetti. Yeah, I'm fully in on Signetti. Tier 1. I've got the teardrop. You need the noise. All right. Tier 2, Nebraska, Rutgers, Washington, Illinois, Iowa, and Michigan. Now, I think some of you are probably saying, wait a minute, why didn't you split these into more tiers? And you'd be right. I probably should have done that. But I think this is a fair tier. I think this is the tier that Rutgers is on. Washington, despite the loss, remains on this tier. Michigan and Rutgers on the same tier. Now, tier 3, I have Wisconsin, Nebraska, or that's Northwestern, Minnesota, and USC. Now, if I'm being honest, I forgot to drag up USC to tier 2. They should have been on tier 2, so let's just do that right now. Okay, so now we've dragged USC up to tier 2, and then I think maybe whoa, I have totally messed this up. Wait a second. Okay, hold on. Boom. All right, there we go. So we have that. Now I want to go down to tier 4. We have UCLA, Michigan State, and Maryland in tier 4. And then in the Purdue tier, we have Purdue. And this is Max's tier drop. Okay. Max's tier talk. Tier drop is something different. Max's tier talk. Okay. Indiana in tier 1. There probably should be, again, another tier between like 1 and 3. Like there should be like a 2A maybe. I don't really know. But these are my tiers. What do we think?
The only one I have issue with is Northwestern. I think Northwestern should probably be swapped out with either Michigan State or Maryland. I think they probably are in the 4th tier.
Let's knock them down. They're down. See him. All right, I knocked him down. I'll take arguments. I'm very easily persuaded.
Oh well, actually, that might explain why you're so high on Indiana, considering Cignetti is like, he's something else.
Did he tell people to Google him? I win. Google me.
Yes, he did.
Cool. That was
That's exactly
cool
what he said. That was actually really cool. If he wasn't the coach of Indiana, he would be like my favorite coach in the country.
I love I hate that we don't play Indiana. I mean, I know they're great, and obviously would Indiana be the best team on their schedule? Would Indiana be the best team, either them or USC?
It's
USC.
Yeah, it would be second best.
But yeah, no, he's fun. I miss playing Indiana football. That was a nice little rivalry. I want that back. We should have. I'd rather play Indiana every year than Maryland. Actually,
that's fair.
I'd rather play in football. I feel like that's more of our rival.
Unfortunately, the Big Ten offices don't take basketball ownage into account for the protected rivalries.
Yeah.
Isn't it weird how little like distaste Rutgers fans and Maryland fans have for one another? You'd think that there would be something there.
Yeah, I mean geographically, but like we came in the conference at the same time. I feel like the people I knew from high school that went to Maryland, they were like it's not like the people who went to Penn State. You're like, oh, okay. But like I've never known a Maryland alum that's been like, someone that I found deplorable or like annoying or something. Like, I don't know. Like I feel like Maryland's cool. I feel like we're cool with Maryland. Indiana, not cool with Indiana. Not cool with Penn State. Michigan, Michigan State. I've met some Michigan State people. They're pretty cool. I've met some cool Michigan State people. Yeah, I don't know. What do we think? Are we done here? What else we got?
I think Maryland fans and us share like the shared hate for Penn State because in recruiting, Penn State's always coming into New Jersey, always coming into Maryland, taking top guys. And generally speaking, we're both striving to kind of be where Penn State is, outside of some of the extracurriculars Penn State's been involved with. But
yeah, I mean, I also don't like, despite the geographical thing that Rutgers and Maryland, they're the two closest teams. We lost Max. It's not really like there's much recruiting overlap. Like I feel like Maryland doesn't go after a ton of. They definitely go after New Jersey more than Rutgers goes after Maryland. This 2025 class notwithstanding, considering there's like 3 or 4 of them from Washington and DC.
Yep.
It's like there's not too much of an overlap, I would say.
Yeah, that's probably fair. And the guys that we do get from Maryland doesn't seem like Maryland is particularly high on, and vice versa.
Yeah. Although it seems like this 2025 class is a little bit different in that regard. They've definitely gotten some guys that Maryland wanted. Like I think Tariq Hare was one that Maryland was really going after.
Yes, the safety from DC. Yep.
Yeah, I'm here. So I think we're done. I think we've gotten to everything we needed to get to today. That was like the longest episode of anything ever. It's 2.5 hours. We're gonna have to cut that up. Yeah, we'll split it up. We'll figure out how to split up. Thank you to James Kratch. That was great. I love that we have a new segment that's now been born where James is gonna fix sports. Mike. So James has been hired by Sports Radio 1766. Mike apparently has also been hired. Welcome aboard. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Thought we got a lot done. I think we're getting better every week. Production, obviously, we've got the ticker now. We've got some better production elements here, and I think even next week will be even better. I think we went 1-0 this week, and I think that we'll be in good shape going forward.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. This is fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah, thanks, Mike. Yeah, thanks to Mike Broadbent, Rutgers.rivals.com, bringing back the old Rutgers.rivals.com. You guys are too new to the scene to remember the RU Screw Pod Rutgers.rivals.com days.
How old do you think I am, Max?
What was it? I don't know. I don't know if you were listening. I don't know. I don't remember. You weren't working for Rivals at the time.
No, I definitely. I mean, I'm still technically not working for Rivals.
Well, whatever. Part of like doing something.
Yeah. I'm not in the. I wasn't in the scene.
But where did you? Before we wrap this up, where did you come from? Like at one point, you were just like here and like writing stuff. Like I never heard of this guy before. Like where did you? Like what's your origin?
I learned about this in health class one year.
Yeah,
where did you come from?
My mom and dad. So I always thought that Rutgers was underserved in the podcast sphere. And I always thought that I would do well at it. And I had this like dumb fantasy football podcast that we did for our dynasty football league. And so we would do like weekly episodes covering, what happened that week, trades that happened in the league, and etc. I don't know. I wanted to do something a little bit more with more breadth to it. And so Richie made an offhanded comment in like an Ask the Staff thread saying, somebody asked him like, why don't you guys do podcasts? And Richie's like, well, I have wanted to do one, but I don't have like a co-host to do it. And I'm just not going to like talk to myself.
And then Rivals used to have Rivals used to have a podcast, and like half of the people there hated it. It was called the Are You Screw podcast. Anyway.
Yeah. So I messaged Richie and I was like, hey, if you're serious, I'd love to do a Rutgers podcast, send him some samples.
You literally just appeared out of nowhere. Okay. That's actually what happened.
Just apparated out of a fireplace. Yeah.
So you kind of did the same. You went from like a listener, a caller into the show, a responder to the threads on Rivals, to host.
Exactly. Yep.
You've done it now. Right. Okay. You have a history of doing this. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Mike, thank you for joining us. I hope you will join us again sometime. That would be a lot of fun. Alec, thank you as always for being a part of Sports Radio 1766. And that's really all I have to say.
Happy birthday, Alec.
Oh, yeah. Happy birthday. I feel like I should have had more. I would have had more bells and whistles for Alec if I didn't know it was his birthday till like this morning.
Well,
But happy birthday to Alec. You doing anything fun after this? You getting a nice meal or anything?
Not really. I kind of just I don't think I have much planned, honestly.
Get a nice burger. We never did Alec's burger review. That was another thing we had.
That's true. My dad and I went to Stout right by Penn Station yesterday and got a nice burger.
Okay.
So
yeah, I've been there before. Yeah, good burger. I don't think I've had a burger, but it's a good burger.
Yeah, I liked it. It was good.
Okay, cool. All right.
Hasn't that place done like the pregame Rutgers stuff for the MSG
I think
games?
so. I think
yes.
So. They had a lot of people there for the Mets game last night, and also the Devils and Rangers were playing a preseason game. So,
Hey, hockey. That's starting so soon. It's already October. Summer's over. It's bad. All right. That is it for us here on Sports Radio 1766. Thanks to Mike Broadbent, Max, and Alec signing off. That's it. Hitting the end stream button right now.